Bad morning to all. Fins down to all. Oh, man. Dolphins, I shouldn't be surprised. This team should never surprise me in the way that they can disappoint me week after week after week. Dolphins fall 28-6 last night at home against the Baltimore Ravens. Bottom line here, and I'm Alex Dono, filling in for Tobin today. Got Leroy, we got Vlad in the building. Leroy, we could start here. Bad football teams find ways to lose games, right? When you get into scoring position and you self-destruct, you're going for a 4th and 1, false start penalty. Mike McDaniel's head almost exploded. I was actually happy to see McD showing a little emotion on the sidelines. You got red zone turnovers, bad execution. You did get hosed on that tripping call on Ollie Gordon. Not that that was the difference in winning or losing the football game.
That was not tripping.
No.
Like,
he
fell
slipped.
and the guy tripped over him. And that sucks, right? It's unfortunate that a group of grown-ass men couldn't come together and say, somebody couldn't say, hey, he kind of fell. He didn't really trip him, and the guy tripped over him.
Yeah. I mean, everybody on the Amazon broadcast knew that that wasn't tripping. They had the referee expert who's like, yeah, guys, that's not tripping. Herb Street didn't like it. Al Michaels didn't like it. I didn't like it. Leroy didn't like it. But apparently they can't get it right in an actual game.
Listen, here's the problem. They're going to do enough to lose games themselves.
For sure. And they did.
But like, what are you doing? Did you just want to have a meeting on Prime? Right? Did you want to have that discussion on Prime so mom and them could see you? Yeah. Because that's kind of how it looked. And like, look, I get so frustrated watching this team, and I've explained it in detail to everybody watching the game.
Well, I'd like to know, Leroy, because after that game last night, I don't even know where to start. Like, I don't know where to start my criticism and my disappointment.
Here's where you start. In the past 5 weeks, there have been some things that the Dolphins have done well. Like when they played Atlanta, going with the extra linemen and the 2 backs. Kind of threw him off because you didn't know whether Achane was going to carry the ball or whether he was going to be on a route. You got the extra lineman in there, so you also have your power game with your big back, and so it kind of confused him. So I figured going into a short week, you're going to see some more of that because that's what you did well, and you want to see if you are onto something or they figured it out in those 4 days. They never even did it. They did it like a couple of times. And so I'm like, listen, we turn on a team, we turn on a game, right? And we can put on maybe 15 to 20 teams. And you can say, oh, we know what they can do well. You better, if you go into the game, you better stop that.
Yeah.
Right? The Dolphins don't even put pressure on the defense to force them to make adjustments to stop anything because you're all over the place.
That's right.
And that drives me crazy. I don't understand how you could run a set of plays, go all the way down the field, and never run those plays again because you've already adjusted and you don't even know if the other team can stop it. Sometimes you get in a groove in a game, and no matter what you do, that defense can't stop the basic stuff you started the game with. But you keep going. You keep doing it. They switch too quick.
Yes.
And so from that standpoint, when I'm watching the game, and the only reason why they stayed with Atlanta because they didn't have any players. And that sucks. That you fell into something and you couldn't wait to get away from it. The job is to win the game. The job is not to look a certain way. The job is to not feel like you're out coaching the other team. The job is to win the game. And if that is successful, I don't care how simple it makes you look. That makes you a good coach because you're willing to do that to win the game. And I'll give you a perfect example. when the Baltimore Ravens won the Super Bowl with Brian Billick, an offensive guru, they went 5 weeks without scoring an offensive touchdown.
Yeah.
Right? And won the Super Bowl, and he's a Super Bowl winning coach, and he said, you know what? I'm not going to screw this up so that my defense is in a bad spot. That's called coaching.
Yeah.
And
they won that Super Bowl kicking field goal after field goal because the defense could stop everything and anything.
Right. So understand that, and I'm going to say this because I think Mike McDaniel does do some very innovative and good stuff. Okay. But this happens with young coaches. They can't get out of their own way. They feel like they have to overcoach a situation, and football is more basic than you think. It really is. You have to have some caveats, of course. You have to make some adjustments, of course. Yeah. But think about this. You start off the game and you have your 15 scripted plays, right? When you're running those plays, you know what you should be thinking as a coaching staff with the 400 coaches you have?
We should be thinking the stuff that works, we keep it in the bag to use it again.
And you should say, okay, if they should happen to defend this, what is a caveat we can put by giving the same look and making them feel comfortable that they can defend it, and you put a little tweak with the same everything, right? That's offensive football. Offensive football is making you feel comfortable, and then boom. For example, we run that bubble screen, and it drives me crazy. Somebody goes in motion, they kick out, they run the bubble screen, go inside, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody flows to that. They run to it like crazy. You know what the caveat to that is? That guy goes into motion, he runs at that guy, he slips and goes right up the sideline. He will never be covered, ever in life. You know why? Because I did it 25 years ago.
You know.
I know what the adjustment to that is. But instead, we end up 2nd and 12 because you ran it 4 times. So, like, while we're sitting here talking about how bad this player is and how bad the defense sucks and how we can't do this and how many mistakes we make, let's talk about putting the guys in a position to give them a damn chance.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't that fall on coaching?
That's what I'm talking about. Absolutely.
100% who we're talking about.
And
we're going to have a lot of discussions today, by the way.
How about this one, Vlad? You got 400 coaches. You think you should be better at coaching, right? And I'm going to tell you this. Here's where you know somebody is making it about them. I don't know who the running back coach is. I've never met him. I don't. But when Ollie Gordon fell and they called tripping and he went and yelled at him.
Yeah, it's Eric Stoodsville.
And he went and yelled at that dude, right?
Yeah. I thought
whatever
that was
he was yelling, right?
Yeah.
You're supposed to know what's going on more than anything. In fact, you should be backing up your guy.
Should be yelling at the refs, not at Gordon.
Correct. And so that's what leads me to believe everybody, and as much as they still play hard or whatever, those are moments like that where you go, that ain't about the team. That's about you saving face. That's about you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because he wanted it to be known that he's coaching. He's coaching his ass off, and he don't allow that kind of stuff, even though it was a BS call.
It was. So, I mean, I'd say direct that energy at the call, not at the player who did not do anything malicious on that play. And man, I thought Mike McDaniel had a true quote. I'm not defending McDaniel, but he was right about this. You know, when he was interviewed, I think it was halftime, and he mentioned, like, yeah, we're playing 2 opponents. We're playing the Ravens and we're playing ourselves. Because it goes back to Leroy. Bad teams find a way to lose games. Bad teams find a way to self-inflict wounds. I mean, the Dolphins in the first half had 226 yards of offense compared to, I think, 109 from Baltimore. And you go into the locker room down 14-6. Now, the game got blown open in the third quarter. But at at halftime, the Dolphins were in a position where they should have been up 2 touchdowns, not down 8 points.
Correct.
They should have been down 5.
Correct.
They should have
Yeah.
done field goal.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then once again, and I asked the team this in the locker room, why they cannot seem to come out in the second half and adjust very
I'm gonna tell you. You want me to tell you why, Vlad?
Yeah,
me
why?
tell you.
I'd love to know
Here's-
why. Like I heard Joe
I'm
talking
gonna-
about it this
I'm gonna-
morning.
I'm
Like
gonna
what do the
tell you-
coaches say at halftime?
I'm gonna tell
it's
you
consistent.
here. I'm gonna tell you exactly what goes on at halftime. Okay, we go into the locker room. The coaches go into the shower, and they go over some pointers that either the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator have written down. They have two separate little huddles, right? And they go, okay, what are they doing when we do this? What do they do when we do this? Okay, what can we do? Blah, 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 blah. Boom. That's it. That's about 4 or 5 minutes. That means that all of the stuff that you're seeing on the field, right? All the stuff that you're seeing, now you're seeing how they're defending it or what offensive caveats they're throwing at you. And now you're thinking, as you go out into the room to talk to the players, okay, here's our adjustments. And you go out and make those adjustments, whether it's a caveat with the protection, caveat with rolling to or out, right? A caveat on defense with putting more pressure on Lamar, right? Making a tackle, or just going in and saying, guys, we're getting there. We got to make the sack, right?
Yeah.
Something as simple as that. If you're on the right path in its execution, you got to execute better. So now you're going out to the players. You have boards, you have whiteboards, and you start talking about, okay, here's what we're going to go to in the second half, right? Here's what we're going to do. Here's what they're doing to us. They kind of got our number on this. We're going to throw this caveat at that. We're going to go more 4 wides. We're going to go more big. We're going to go with that jumbo set we had last week. And we're going to say, we did that well. We're going to go with that, right? Those are the adjustments. It seems to me that their only adjustment is saying we need to play better.
Yeah.
Right?
I could give that speech. No problem.
But that's my point, right? This is not, listen, I'm not a coach. Okay? This is not something that anybody can do. But I do know from watching it what has failed this team, not just this year coming out in the third quarter. It's like, where's your nuance? Where's your caveats? Where's your, give the other team credit and then you counter it. That's what football is. It's ebbs. Sometimes, like what the coach say, sometimes, they defended that well, right? So let's come back and run a little caveat off that, a little twist on it, right? Like, hey, look how hard. Here's what somebody upstairs with the whole number of coaches they have. Somebody in that mic should say, you know what? They're playing that bubble screen pretty tough because they've been watching it for the last 5 weeks. Yeah. How about we fake the bubble screen?
Yes, thank you.
Their opportunity of what they call faking the bubble screen is running it one way and then slipping out the lineman on the other side and running the screen over there.
I'm just saying, man, this whole season.
We got to get in our headlines. Brought to you by Doral Kia, home of the Pricito, our lowest price. Visit us at Doral Kia or at DoralKia.com. Miami Dolphins, we've been talking about it. They lose 28-6 at home against the Baltimore Ravens on Thursday night. We'll talk later in the show about what happens next organizationally, because there were some embarrassing looks on TV last night. I wonder if Stephen Ross is thinking differently today than he was thinking before.
Bags, baby. When the brown paper bags,
bags, leaving early.
I'm familiar with that. I grew up with the Aints, so I'm very familiar with the brown paper bags. It never. Well, look, y'all talking about the brown paper bags. I ain't even worried about that. How about the fact that the Ravens fans were louder than the Dolphins fans because there wasn't a lot of them?
You want to hear something crazy? there were more Raven fans in the Odyssey Suite than there were Dolphins.
Really?
Yeah, because Odyssey is up in that area.
Right, but usually,
Yeah.
a game.
So you were
Thursday,
at the game, Vlad?
yeah, every home.
So
game.
what would you say, like, in the crowd? Like the building holds, I think 68,000. Like how many Ravens fans do you think were there?
How many Ravens fans?
How many Ravens fans?
I mean, it wasn't a sellout.
20? 20K?
I would say maybe 10 to 12, 10 to 13. It
They
wasn't
sounded
a sellout.
loud on TV. I was
No,
watching the game,
no.
and yeah,
It wasn't a sellout.
the
were a
whole
lot
game
of-
wasn't. Well,
There were a
that's
lot
another
of,
thing. Stephen Ross will take notice of that.
There were a lot of empty seats.
Whew.
I don't want to break this to you.
I mean, they sold the tickets already.
Sure, yeah.
Here's what I would say to you.
Yeah.
The ticket sales are a very small, and I know fans don't want to hear this, but this is the reality.
Okay.
Ticket sales are a very small percentage of the monies made, right? Now, the thing is that money goes mostly to the team, but you still have revenue sharing there also.
I know,
Why are
but
you whispering that?
I know.
Does that
I
make a
understand
scene?
that. Hey, bro, but
'cause
it's still a bad optic in the NFL.
No, yes, of course.
So optically, it looks bad.
Okay, optically, yes,
I-
but when people say, "Hey, just don't go to the games," like it matters by the optics, but not by what people think they're doing. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Listen, the whole this team is bad, but they're bad in the wrong ways, not just
Okay.
with the players, right? Like they're just like, for example, they call too many timeouts because guys don't know what the hell they doing. You've been playing football too long this year, right? And I used to have a coach that in practice, if we had trouble lining up, he'd say, scrap it. I don't care if it's a Super Bowl winning play. If you can't execute it, it don't matter. And so that's why I thought last week was a window to what this team should be doing, right? Because it was simple. They had less players. They had to use a lineman at a tight end, and it looked like everything was working. Everybody was fired up. Everybody was motivated. Like, dude, when you have stupid mistakes like that, and you're moving the ball, and then a 4th and 1, you're going for it. The lineman jumps off sides, and then you miss a field goal.
Yeah,
that sucks the life out of
Let me pause you right there because we got to hit a break. We'll also be talking on this episode about the Heat losing up there to Wemby 107-101. But I want to continue the Dolphins conversation when we come back. What's Stephen Ross going to do? Because there had been indications in recent weeks that maybe his mind could be changed on staying the course with the current staff. You want to keep it right here. Tobin and Leroy show on Halloween. I'm freaking out about maybe not having ESPN tomorrow on YouTube TV. There's a bunch of crap going on. You want to keep it right here. Tobin and Leroy show, FM 104.3 WQAM. Tobin and Leroy Show, FM 104.3 WQAM. Alex Dono in for Tobin. Leroy and Vlad are here. All right, so Leroy, we've been hearing for the past week that obviously Stephen Ross is not happy with the results on the field, but indications are he does not want to make a coaching change. He wants to be as patient as possible with Mike McDaniel. I'm sure the same thing goes for Chris Grier, who's been with the organization for 100 years. Like, he wants to be patient with the current structure in place. There was mention by NFL insiders this week that one of the things that Steve Ross has been looking at is, is the team still playing for Mike McDaniel? I mean, I guess we could debate, we could probably say, I guess that they are. They're not playing well, but they're still playing for their coach for what that's worth. But do you think, does last night, Leroy, does that change anything here? And, they had another players-only meeting after the game. I'm sure Ross and McDaniel had another one of their chats after the game about how unhappy everybody is. But they've got a long week right now before their next game. And then later in November, they're going to have the bye week after the Spain game. There are two logical times if you're going to make a coaching change, either this week or after the Spain game before the bye week. Seem like logical times to do that. Are we going to see that happen in season? Oh, I can't hear Leroy.
No.
I can hear you now.
Yeah, okay. I don't think so. I don't think it accomplishes anything. The players aren't quitting; they just aren't good.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know if having a different voice is going to change that. Now, I will say this: if you were to do that, we would know in the first third quarter what the issues were, right? Just based on how they come out in third quarter, what adjustments they make, what do they do from that standpoint. Because if they come out and they make adjustments and they look like, they look different, I know everybody's going to want to say, see, Mike McDaniel was the problem. And that's not entirely true. I think a lot of it has to do with, as a group, how they go about making adjustments coming out in the third quarter, right? And so what if the interim coach understands that and understands that, like, Bill Belichick used to have a game plan in the first half and a game plan in the second half, or a game plan in the fourth quarter, right? Like, soon as we get this is what we're going to, and you prepared all week for that. And I'm just like, it you can run good plays, but if it's not put together well enough, it doesn't result in good drives, right? That means you might have a good play here, a good play there, a good play here, but it never adds up to anything. So that's how you get 100 yards or 120 yards in the first quarter and you lose it, right? So if it's something as simple as that, and I can't tell you that, I don't know. If it's something as simple as that, the same plays and the same defense and the same offense, but with different direction, could actually help right away.
Yeah.
I don't know if that to be true, right? But to me, that's more of what it seems like.
So, and what you're saying, just so we're clear, is like you don't see McDaniel getting to next year. You're just not sure if it's beneficial to fire him right now versus waiting till the end of the season. Is that right?
Right. I would do it when you can get a head start, right? Because here's what's going to happen. A lot of these teams are going to do it so that they can get the upper hand on getting a new coach.
Yeah, the interviews. You want to start the interviews as soon as you can. Which when do those? When are you able to start those? Like
December, January.
Yeah.
If they allow the coach to actually do it.
Yeah.
My biggest fear is
that's true.
Here's one of my biggest fears about this whole situation is that what are your options? Because you're just going to go and get another young new coach because that seems to be the wave. And if you bring in a older coach, he's going to want say. Because that's one of the things you got to give up when you bring in an old head.
Is that the worst thing in the world, though? I mean, if you get somebody established and they want to have more say, it's like it's not really working for us with Chris Grier having a lot of say.
Correct, but I'm just telling you these are going to be the negotiated facts of how you're going to be able to get, say, a Mike McCarthy, right? You think Mike McCarthy is going to say, I tell you what, if I have a coach again, it ain't going to be that Dallas situation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, when you saw Tuna, when he finally left and went on his own, and his main thing was, I want control of the roster. I want to determine whatever. Bill Belichick,
buy the groceries, he famously said.
Right. You look at what Sean Payton's doing in Denver. Like it took a lot of stones to let $40 million walk out your door.
Yeah.
Right. When you look at some of the older coaches. So when you say, oh, let's just go get John Gruden. First of all, it ain't going to happen. He's in kind of a legal thing right now with the league.
Still is. Yeah. Yeah. We talked about that yesterday. I thought he'd gotten through that, but no, the legal thing still goes on.
So who is the what are the other options out there that aren't going to end up having to go through the same learning curve as Mike McDaniel, right? And so, like,
you can't keep him.
No, I know, but here's
I was about to say that because, like, no matter what the next option is, and obviously I'm a lifelong Dolphin fan, which means I'm a long-suffering Dolphin fan. I want them to get the right head coach in here finally. But to what Vlad is saying, the first step of that is you can't keep going with this. Like, the Mike McDaniel era is over as far as I'm concerned.
Right. This is kind of where you are, right? So who's the next hot coach? Now, I would say you could.
I know what to do.
Go get Lane Kiffin.
No.
Lane Kiffin is about ready to make a comeback to the NFL.
No. I can't believe I'm going to say this.
There's some talk about Sark. I'm not saying I like Sark that much, but
no.
He could come here and coach Ewers. He knows Ewers already. New franchise quarterback who's already on the roster.
He got rid of Ewers. Well, you think he's going to follow him?
All right, what do we want?
Good point.
What do we want down here? Do we want a disciplinarian, a guy?
Listen, here's the deal, Vlad.
Or you just want a good coach?
You want
with experience.
You want a good coach, but you don't want to have to sacrifice everything.
Okay,
to like
I got
get a good coach. So
I know
some of these guys that you would bring in.
You ready?
Yeah, go.
Call Washington and call about Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah, but
I don't know. He's very
young,
handsome, but I don't know if he can coach.
He's young. He looks the South Florida look, but he's also been helpful in developing quarterbacks. He was good for Kyler. Once he left, Kyler went bad. Look what he's done the first 2 years with Jaden Daniels. Daniels just been banged up.
But Vlad counterpoint,
and he has experience.
Yeah,
he did lead his team. He did lead the Cardinals to a postseason.
Counterpoint. You do realize you're still basically hiring another Mike McDaniel,
but a more experienced version.
Okay, but more
slight upgrade.
Wait. And who got more experience doesn't make you better.
And he got humble. I'm just saying because you're right. If you're really looking right now at the prospect and coaching, and you not even the NFL, also in college,
right?
There's not that many great candidates out there for you to be like, okay, once you let this coach go, you're gonna get this coach to replace him. But you got to let this coach go in Miami. Like, he's got to go.
Oh, and by the way, I see the comment we're getting from Shane. You're not even talking about Greer. No, believe me, we should be. I would like to have a different GM leading the coaching search for your next head coach. Like, I don't want Chris Grier making that hire. And I have this feeling, based on what everybody says about the situation, how long he's been with the organization, I don't think he would be outright fired. I think he might be moved into like a different part of the organization, given some like, corner office symbolic job title. But I want a new GM hiring our next head coach and selecting our next quarterback too, by the way.
If there's one big problem, and here's what happens with GMs. When GMs make decisions, you don't know where it's coming from. Is it what he wanted, or what somebody who has a say wanted?
Yeah.
Right? And so
but he's got final say, so it's on him.
That he does?
Yeah, he does have final say.
So what I would say is this. If I'm going to say Mike McDaniel has been very poor at how he adjusts, or how his special plays or his offense has like caveats to it or adjustments to it. If I'm going to give him a hard time about that, which I have for this is not the first week I've done this.
Nope.
Right? I'm going to say, here's what the biggest problem with Chris Grier is. That you've had an opportunity to build this team 4 different ways, to the point where now it's nowhere. And no, absolutely not, right? You drafted guys who were good players. They're not on the team because you can't afford them, because you went out and spent all your resources on veterans, on guys who were hurt. You've signed more hurt guys than guys who play.
If
right?
you're hurt, we're signing you. We're drafting you.
You have to take. You have to be accountable for that, right? Like, it's a mass unit.
Yeah.
So, like, and you got 2 players, right, who you haggled with, that are not on the team, that went out and made big money, which meant they were good players. So if you could have done something to afford those players, and you could have, if you went out and gave new contracts to all of these veterans who weren't playing or are no longer here, right? Then you could have had the young talent for the next 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Now you're starting over now, and not only that, you're thrusting them into positions where maybe they needed to be developed, but we ain't got time for that.
Right.
So it could be a possibility where you're ruining them, and they have talent because they maybe weren't quite ready to play, and you thrust them into a position where they had to play.
We're going to wrap up the 10 o'clock hour when we come back. We got to talk about the Heat. Going up against Wemby, unfortunately, is what slowed that Heat offense down. Only 101 points last night in a 107-101 L in San Antonio. You want to keep it right here. We're only getting started. Tobin and Leroy show. Dono in for Tobin on FM 104.3 WQAM. Back here on the Tobin and Leroy show, we didn't just take one L last night. It was the double L's last night. Miami Heat started off a road trip last night in San Antonio. On the Heat side, rough game for Kalel Ware, -20 net rating. Woof. Wembanyama on the Spurs side plays 40 minutes, scores 27 points, 18 rebounds, and it's like, and that wasn't like a particularly exquisite game from Wemby, Leroy, but he changes the way you approach and attack the rim just by his mere presence. Like, he is such a game-changing body out there at 7'3" or 7'5" or whatever he is. So, the Heat, their run of scoring 140-plus points came to an end last night. They had some moments in San Antonio last night. It wasn't a blowout. Or
they had the surge at the end, and
they had the surge with 17-1 run. So it wasn't what the Dolphins put on tape for us last night. It was a little better than that, but not enough.
Yeah, I went to Funky Buddha with Hawk and those guys.
How was the food? I know you were concerned about the food.
Hey, that food,
good, right?
Off the chain.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. It's very hard to do this, Vlad. To start with a perfect wing. Cooked the right way, seasoned the right way.
Ooh.
Right?
I ain't gonna hold you. That's true.
Hey,
Yeah.
You'll go to a wing place and you got to either tweak it and make it extra crispy.
Yeah.
It's a little soggy. I don't like eating wings where you got to wonder if it's cooked. Right?
Yeah, that's no good. Ugh.
Or
when the skin is soggy.
So then the next time you ask, give me extra crispy, and then it's on point. Or sometimes you got to get the sauce on the side. Those wings came. And let me tell you something about our guy Hawk.
He can eat.
It's not even that, dude. First of all, an Aperol spritz can kick rocks.
No, that's an elite drink.
No,
elite drink.
Dude, here's when you know what kind of drink you have. He lifts up his Aperol spritz. I lift up mine. And 3 girls at the bar raise theirs.
Oh, man. Y'all sex in the
There's
city?
Yeah.
Something unfortunate happened because I got family in Italy. I was in Italy last summer for like 6 weeks, and I spritzed my way across the entire country. I'm actually partial to the Campari spritz. Campari's a little stronger, a little more bitter. You can, like, in Italy, you get the spritz however you like. You do a limoncello spritz, an Aperol spritz, Campari spritz. I'm partial to the Campari spritz, but I'll take an Aperol spritz, and it's like, Men in Europe, they drink the Aperol spritzes, but something over here happened where I guess, stereotype is a women's drink.
So then,
man card revoked.
Then you ever have somebody that really pushes an item?
Yeah, Hawk's gonna push that apple spritz.
No, that and what else?
Pushing?
The burger?
The tots,
like the nacho, like the
no,
tachos or the
the yuca tots.
Oh, the yuca. I haven't had those. Were they good?
I don't like yuca.
Oh, well, then you're not going to like yuca tots.
Right. So it's like it's not like a French fry. It's almost like a potato ball. Right? So it just has a different, right? And I'm not a big fan of yuca. I don't know why. I like it, but people say you're picky. No, I'm like, there's a lot of food choices out there. Why do I have to force my way through an item when I could just get something I like?
Yeah, I'm that way with sweet potato fries. I don't get what the fuss is. Like, people act as if this is something special. Like, for me, it's like
let me tell you something. Yeah. And this is only to my Caucasian friends.
Okay.
There is only 3 or 4 ways a sweet potato is to be prepared. A pie, candied yams. With the marshmallows and stuff.
Yes, sir.
And I'll give you a baked sweet potato.
Yeah.
Right?
Take that.
That's it.
But fries,
nobody asked for sweet potato fries.
No.
Nobody asked for that.
It's ridiculous. Like,
right?
they try to push
I want
those sweet potato fries.
When you say fries, I want to dip it in ketchup. I don't want cinnamon spritz.
Yeah, like the marshmallow dip.
Right?
No, sorry.
No. You see what I'm saying? Let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go. Let it go. Okay. All right. Don't confuse sweet potato pie with pumpkin pie. Right. You know what's crazy? I never had pumpkin pie until I went to college.
Really?
Never.
I can
Mm-mm.
take it or leave it. I'm a big pumpkin muffin guy, though. That's my preferred pumpkin
No.
treat.
No, my goodness. I'm a good pumpkin. I like it during this time of year, pumpkin spice stuff.
Yeah, my wife is all over that.
Like pumpkin spice
not a fan.
cake donut or pumpkin spice.
But the
Yeah,
thing is,
that,
like me with coffee, like I am to coffee what Leroy is to other stuff, caveman. I'll drink, I'll drink like a Cuban coffee. I love like Italian espresso, and if it's regular coffee, I just take it black. No cream, no sugar, no pumpkin
no
spice
God.
nonsense. I
No,
take it black.
I don't drink enough. I don't drink enough coffee to be able to go at it like that.
Oh, I downed 2 of these bad boys before 11 a.m. and then I downed another one afterwards. I got the espresso cup here. I'm about to make another one, I think. All right, we got to hit the break because I don't want Jay, even though Jay Fig is not here today to yell at
No,
me, she's yelling in spirit.
she's on your shoulder yelling in spirit.
Nah,
She's on my shoulder yelling in spirit. We do
No.
want to. We somehow turned a heat
Evil
segment
Jay
into
Fig is
food
on my
talk.
shoulder. Evil Jay Fig's on my shoulder.
Yeah, but we somehow turned heat talk into food talk. We'll talk some Miami Heat. Tough night at the office last night. We'll talk some more Miami Dolphins. A forgettable night at the office. You want to keep it right here, FM 104.3 WQAM. Welcome back into the Tobin and Leroy show, and it is still just hour 2. Miami's starting quarterback did not earn his hour back last night. Leroy, before we get into our headlines, why are we even putting Tonga Vailoa in a situation to throw a Hail Mary at the end of that first half when like you knew he wasn't going to get it into the end zone, and he ended up like basically taking a sack. Like, I'm just not even going to try to throw this football on that play. If you're going to try a Hail Mary, bring in one of your other quarterbacks. Bring it. Zach Wilson, I think, has a strong arm. If you're really going to try a Hail Mary, that's not the guy to do it.
I mean, yeah, I think, here's the deal. Sometimes you can do things to say you did it, and sometimes you could do things to get it done. So Tua ran, well, they ran the play to say they made an attempt to run it.
Yeah.
Okay. But if Tua really wanted to get that ball in the end zone, he would have started running around, scrambling, and then launched it. Yeah. So it was a situation where he just looked like yeah, man, I'm like,
I don't think anybody touched him when he got sacked. Like, he was just like, I'm going down.
Right. But they called it. Maybe he looked down there and they weren't in the end zone yet. So he's like, no, whatever. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know that, but you can sometimes when you watch sports, especially like say if you see a guy going across the middle to catch a ball, right?
Right.
And it's a tough catch, but he may get laid out. He'll throw the little gator out there, or he'll jump and dive and get knocked out and try to catch it. Right? It's certain situations where you can tell where a guy's at. When you one-on-one with Derrick Henry, right? Are we going to go try to blow him up? Or are we going to go in there, So when it happens, a bunch of times during the course of a game, it just looks weird, right? I don't know why he didn't try to throw it. I didn't know why he didn't scramble around to throw it.
Yeah,
I think he just
would have been his best shot.
He kind of got swallowed up a little bit too. So I'm not going to just totally put it on that. It wasn't like he could have rolled out because they kind of closed in on him pretty good. So I don't know. But
let's get into our headlines brought to you by Doral Kia, home of the Pricito, our lowest price. Visit us at Doral Kia or DoralKia.com. And, what we're talking about all over South Florida today, not only your Miami Dolphins losing 28-6 at home to Baltimore. Dolphins fall to 2-7 on the year. Ravens improved to 3-5. We're all wondering what's going to happen in the near future in terms of management with the Miami Dolphins. But I wanted to dive a little bit more, Leroy, into the Miami Heat's second loss of the year, snapped a 3-game winning streak in San Antonio, 107-101. Heat made it interesting in the end. Wemby had a big game for the Spurs, as you would expect, 27 points, 16 rebounds. He had a +3 rating, so he wasn't the highest on his team, but he affects every single offensive possession for the opponent. So let's get into that. First of all, Leroy, we were talking a little bit about, Wemby and his impact on the NBA yesterday. Like, listen, I don't know if he's ever going to be like the face of the league in terms of like the guy who gets the most ads or anything, but he is a guy who absolutely is. He affects every single game, even when he's not playing exquisitely well. Wemby affects it when he's on the court with his 7'5" frame.
He's a deterrent. And it only takes a couple of guys going in there and he swats it to put everybody else on notice.
Yeah. Oh, let me see how many blocks he had last night. That was one
5.
stat. Yeah, 5 blocks. Yeah.
So, yeah. Now you got a guy who's 7'5", swats everything.
That's a great prop bet. 3.5 Wemby every game.
Yeah.
Swats everything.
That number isn't like 5.5 every week.
Jump on it at 3.5 right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's dude, it's weird because his first year, he looked so fragile.
Yeah.
And now he moving around like
Leroy, he was 18.
no, I know.
Yeah.
I'm still saying he just still.
I mean,
He's
geez,
frail.
give him some time to grow into that body.
I'm big on that, Vlad.
Yeah.
If you know anything about me and Tobin get into that all the time, right? He's quick to call somebody. I'm like, hey man, it's like the same thing I say with Savaianaya and Grant. Like you threw them in that position, maybe they weren't quite there yet, but you can't afford to sit them on the bench. So now what ends up happening is they look the way they look because guess what? Patrick Paul got a whole year. Look how he looks.
Yeah.
Now you can't afford that. And that's how you ruin players, right? You know, they have the conversation like in Cleveland where why don't you just put Shedeur in and see what he could do? Because they know. Like that coach is
You talk, and I'm curious to pick your brain on that because you know Cleveland sports and you played there, you do some stuff with them because man, you talk about social media toxicity, the debates that people have online about Shedeur Sanders and why he isn't playing, it gets very toxic.
Here's all you need to know. It's the coach's job to win games.
Yeah.
He has a responsibility to the organization, but more importantly, to the 53 men in that roster to put all the players in the game that he feels can help them win. If he's got an ego or doesn't like somebody and chooses not to play them and they give him better, the other players on the team can see that. And that looks a bit poorly on him. So when he decides to play Dylan Gabriel instead of Shedeur, regardless of how good or bad Dylan looks, he truly believes Dylan gives him the best chance. And the players on the field also probably agree with that because otherwise you'd be hearing about it. Because that is chaos. Chaos is you got somebody good enough to help you win and you're not playing them for whatever reason. That's how you lose a locker room. So from that standpoint, I think if Shedeur Sanders was good enough or he was the best option, they would have already done it because they ain't winning. So, yeah, I understand why everybody would say that because, like, you look at an organization or a player and you see all the good things he's done and you just assume that why can't he do that here?
Yeah.
And it
they
doesn't
miss him
always
in Colorado,
work.
that's for sure. That team's garbage this year. They could use him and Travis Hunter again this year.
Speaking of Travis Hunter, he's on IR.
Oh, yeah, that's
Really?
right.
Just put it on the IR right now.
Just put it on, yeah.
Look up.
No, what is he?
Me.
Yeah.
Ooh.
He's
Oh, in
reading the
practice.
TV again.
He did it in practice.
Yeah.
Oh,
know
that's
what
the
that
worst.
That's them
Yeah.
100 plays a game. Them little skinny legs.
Yeah.
Better start doing some squats.
Oh, he just might have just injured his leg.
I know. I mean, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. So yeah, that is a way to lose a team. The way to lose a team is when a coach try to make a point by not playing a guy who everybody on the team think could help you win because your players know, right? Contrary to popular belief, everybody say the coach, the guys that you on the field with, the receivers, the running backs, the offensive linemen, the defensive guys, they know who throws the best ball. They know who reads the defenses the best. They can see it every day. So if nobody's really complaining, right, and nobody's really saying anything, because at this point, when you're a bad team, like you can say what you want if you're the right guy.
Yep.
So like nobody's saying nothing. I haven't heard anything. The only people that think that are the people that see the teams losing. Hey, kick the tires on Shedeur Sanders. No.
Right. Or they think the coach has an agenda against Shedeur and he's actively sabotaging his own team by not playing the guy, which is crazy.
No.
But people really do believe that.
Why would a guy go out of his way to get fired?
Yeah, right.
Right? I mean, that's like his.
Although Mike McDaniel seems to be trying that.
Really? Why you say that?
I don't know. They're so bad. I kid. Chris Greer. That's a man trying to get fired.
He is. You know what he is?
He's the worst second half adjustment
He's
coach
a
in
good.
the history.
He's
of the
a.
NFL.
Here's what I'm gonna tell you. What this is what I think about what's going on there. Mike McDaniel is an excellent orchestrator of offense.
Yeah.
But he's terrible at putting that offense to task and coordinating and structuring it so you get the most out of it.
Right.
So he has a lot of creative ways of running offense.
Yeah.
But if you can't do it in a game so that it becomes productive, it's just plays.
Yeah. Yeah, because the strongest part of his resume, McDaniel, is play design, right? Running play, coordinator play design. He can design plays. He just can't time
He
them
can't be the
well.
guy to how do you put it all together? Right? How do you first and second down, third down? How do you put it all together? That's where I'm starting to have because the crazy thing about it is, how many coaches look great? How many coaches look great with the first 15 plays? I've never figured that out. Yeah. I've never, for the life of me, as long as I've been in football, I've never been able to understand if you can script the first 10 to 15 plays and they work like that, you should have caveats to each one of those and just play the game out as you take and insert and take plays out that didn't work in the first 15.
Right.
It's not that hard. But for some reason, the design of the offense, he's really good at. The practical use of said offense, that's where I have questions.
Yeah. Elsewhere in our headlines, Saturday is going to be a busy day, and Sunday in South Florida sports. On Saturday, you have the Miami Hurricanes in action. First noon game of the season for the Canes. They'll actually be playing at 11 a.m. local time in Dallas.
As my boy Robbie would say, sleepy nooner.
We finally got a sleep. I mean, hopefully it's not a sleepy nooner, but we finally got a nooner. Hurricanes playing on the road at SMU. Miami favored by 10.5 points against the Mustangs. A lot of former Hurricanes coaches and a couple former Hurricanes players are on that team. So the emotions will be high, I'm sure. Also on Saturday, Dallas Stars will play at our Florida Panthers at 6 p.m. Inter Miami taking on SC Nashville in the playoffs on the road at, I think that's 7:30 on Saturday night. And then on Sunday, the Miami Heat will continue their road trip in Los Angeles, taking on the Lakers. Let's get to weather. I think we could do that now. This will be the first time on the show. Sponsored by Chill Zone AC, featuring reliable Ruud AC systems. Make your AC great again. Visit chillzoneac.com. All right, Leroy, I'm looking. It's a beautiful day today. I'm looking at 72 degrees, mostly sunny skies, and I do not see any rain in the forecast today. 0%.
No rain. Humidity is probably really low. What we got? Wind direction out of northwest?
If you say so.
No,
I'm not going to check. Hold on. I don't even know where to find that. Wind direction.
I'll let you know. The high will be 77.
Let me know the wind direction.
The low will be 66 in Miami. It might be a little bit warmer, different in Davie. The wind is blowing north.
Out of the north? Okay.
8 miles per hour.
Okay.
Oh, you're right. I just found it.
Just
found it. Yeah.
Because I'm just looking at, all I have when I determine the wind is these clouds, and it's like a couple of clouds, and they moving real slow, and it look like they coming from right to left. So, and again, our building could be turned in such a way that it's not exactly, but yeah, clouds not moving very fast. But I would say tomorrow morning is going to be a cool morning. I like it.
Yeah, tomorrow is going to be same as today, low of 61, high of 78 tomorrow. And it's good trick-or-treating weather tonight, Leroy. I'm going to be out with my son trick-or-treating for like 3 hours. Like he hits every house in the neighborhood. We're going from like 6 to 9 p.m. tonight. You get a lot of trick-or-treaters at your house?
Hold on.
Chris Greer got fired.
Yes, he did.
He did? Oh, man.
They've mutually agreed to part ways, and Champ Kelly will now head the Dolphins' decision leading up to and past Tuesday's NFL trade deadline.
Okay, that is way more important than our weather forecast. All right, let's set the table.
Wait,
on
wait.
this.
Hold on. Can I just say this?
Yeah.
You guys are celebrating way too damn much. I saw fist pumps. I'm looking at.
Who's fist pumping?
I know.
I fist pumped. I did. I'm fist pumping. Double fist pump. I mean, the man has been at this job now. He's been the GM. He's been the GM proper for a decade. He's been with the organization for 25 years. And 25 years is the exact timeline of when this franchise stopped winning anything of meaning.
Okay, but here's what I would say. He didn't have the power that he has now. So let's be clear.
And it's only gotten worse since he's gotten more power.
More
power, more problems.
Like all these things are true. All I'm saying is I'm gonna hold him accountable for his mess. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go way back when all those other guys were the GM. So let's give him his, he got his, right? And just go from there. But I can't.
They mutually parted ways, so they both agree.
No, that's mutually.
It means you're fired, but let's agree. Let's agree to save face a little bit, and we'll kind of agree on what the payment is going to be.
Leroy, I'm looking at it.
That's the definition of streets need a body. That's the owner going and saying, "Look, look, we got to do something."
Yeah, he definitely. Dude, I saw how he left yesterday in that locker room.
Yeah,
he left like a guy that was fleeing the night, man.
Yeah, so if you're just tuning in, news, I was not expecting this today. That Chris Grier has been fired, or as they'll say it, he mutually agreed to part ways with the organization. Like I said it earlier in the show, Leroy, that like I figured Stephen Ross was going to be forced to make some sort of a change at GM, but I thought he would like move Chris Greer to a different office and give him like a different title. The fact that he's actually leaving the organization.
He's been in the organization for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
And you going to demote him?
Well, no, I think you promote. Well, the thing is, the long-standing theory, Leroy, is he knows where the bodies are buried with this Brian Flores lawsuit, and that the Dolphins don't want to piss him off too much because he knows where too many bodies are buried. That's been the long-standing theory. Maybe that's not true. Like, I don't know for a fact that that's true, but I was not expecting him to get outright fired. I thought that they would give him some kind of a fancy new title and a different office and bring in a new GM.
No. Why? What is that? We'll give you $3 million to go away.
Well, because what if he now joins the Flores lawsuit?
At $3 million. That $3 million.
That's what I'm saying. He mutually parted ways.
Mutually parted ways. They moved on with an understanding.
Yeah,
and a settlement. I'm sure some kind of by settlement. I mean a severance or whatever package.
So if I had
to pay,
if I had to go to one specific reason as to why the Dolphins haven't had success over the last 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
We could go with coaches. We could say all that stuff. We could say players. But has there been a GM that has put a team together that should have been better than they have been? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's put a team together that's been worse than they should have been.
Right.
Would you like to discuss?
I'm tired of. Here's what I hate. I don't want a team that's good on paper. I want a team that's good on the field.
Oh, for sure. By the way, Schmeathan is right. This feels better than a playoff win. Not that I remember what a playoff win feels like.
Can I just read some of these?
No. Break.
All right. Let's say
All right. Well, I extended the segment because we had to get some thoughts in. When we come back, now that the Chris Grier era is over, Chris Grier has been fired. Let's talk about the worst Chris Grier draft picks. We'll also talk about the worst Grier signings, the worst trades, although he made some good trades, but some trades you thought were good that didn't work out. You want to keep it right here. This is what we're talking about on WQAM. Chris Grier is no longer with the Miami Dolphins organization, and why the timing of this is absolutely right. You want to keep it locked here on FM 104.3 WQAM.
He gone.
I got to give Stephen Ross some credit. I woke up on this Friday morning feeling absolutely miserable after what the Dolphins did on the field last night. But at least off the field, we get a move that has completely turned my day around. Tobin and Leroy show. Alex Dono in for Brennan Tobin. Leroy Horde is here. All right, so Leroy, for those just tuning in, no, this is not an April Fool's joke.
No,
Not April. We're not
Nope.
trolling. Chris
We're
Grier.
not trolling.
Chris Greer is no longer the Miami Dolphins GM. I've got in front of me. Would you like to hear the official statement from Stephen Ross, Miami Dolphins team?
I hope you didn't put in there, thank you for his service.
He's going to, I'm sure he probably put in there, and I haven't read this yet, so I'm reading this for the first time. Hey, fans, we have a tennis tournament and Formula One to look forward to. Now, here's the statement. Okay, so here's Stephen Ross. This morning, I made the decision, along with General Manager Chris Greer, to mutually part ways. I have incredible respect for Chris and his family, and I want to thank him for his many contributions to the Miami Dolphins over the past 26 years. As I assess the state of the team and in my discussions with Chris, it became clear to both of us that change could not wait. We must improve in 2025, 2026, and beyond, and it needs to start now. Champ Kelly will serve as interim general manager effective immediately, and we will begin our search process for a new general manager. I want to thank Champ for stepping up and his commitment to the Dolphins' success this season. There's a lot of football left to play, and we all need to fight even harder. I have always been and remain committed to building a winning team that consistently competes for championship. You've been committed to it. It hasn't happened. I am incredibly proud of our leadership as an NFL organization and our continued commitment to the community, but our performance on the field and our team building process have not been good enough. There are no excuses. I want to thank the fans for their continued support and passion for this team. You deserve a championship caliber team you can be proud of. There's much work ahead to return the Dolphins to sustained success, and that work begins now, finishing the season strong, evaluating all areas of our football operation, and moving forward with a clear vision for the future. Your reaction, Leroy, to that Steve Ross statement?
You lost me at Greer's no longer with us.
I mean, that's all that really matters, right?
Right. I don't know who the new guy is, but I was talking to Vlad. If he's still in the same building, are you really getting a different voice?
I mean, he's going to be the GM until you find. I mean, you got to have somebody sitting in the chair until you find your next full-time
that's
GM.
How Chris Greer got the job. So
let's hope Champ doesn't get permanently promoted, is what you're saying.
Stop making it sound like it's a clear-cut thing that they're going to go outside the organization and get a replacement. That's how Chris Greer got the job.
It's true. That's a good point.
So, I don't know. Listen, here's why I believe it happened now. Trade deadline's Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
That's it.
And you don't want a lame duck GM making trades.
It's not even a lame duck. Him.
Right.
His track record with making decisions recently have not been good. So do you want him trading for and giving up assets or getting assets? Do you want him doing that? No. So that's why it happened now. But I think there's a lot of issues that are going on. But until you get players on the field, until you get one ideology on what type of team you want to build, it's going to be hard to find a coach.
Yeah.
And I would say this. If you bring in an old school coach, he going to want to get his players and how he wants to do things, and he may even want the power or the final say so. So how important is the GM that you may get? Maybe that's going to be the new voice.
That's going to be part of the criteria,
right?
Sure.
If you sign one of these young coaches that doesn't want none of the power, he just want to coach them up, then you better have somebody who can make sound decisions in as a GM. And that's just kind of how the things you're going to have to view. Me personally, I don't want an old coach. And it sucks because you might have to go through some bumps and bruises with a new young coach. But here's the deal. If you bring in an old coach, they come in with a type of arrogance that doesn't necessarily always allow for things to move quickly, right? An old school coach is kind of one of the, I'm calling the right plays, you just ain't running it right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Stubbornness.
And a young coach is going to try to be innovative and creative, but you need somebody who's going to say, let me see what I got, let me make something out of it, and then we'll go from there. I don't know how many coaches are available like that.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. Like, everybody's happy that they're getting rid of people. Now let's get rid of this guy. Now let's get rid of that guy. You do realize it's quite possible you could bring in somebody who's worse.
So,
sure. I mean, we've done that before. What do you got, Vlad?
From Adam Schefter, Dolphin head coach Mike McDaniel will remain Miami's head coach for the remainder of the season, at least, per sources.
Okay. Well, you know what? Okay, here's the deal with that. In my opinion, I think obviously firing the GM first and firing the GM now makes sense. Leroy brought up the point of, hey, we're 4 days away from the trade deadline. I didn't want Chris Grier still here making trades of any kind. So that's one reason. Another reason now, so you have a GM search that's going to start, right? So Champ Kelly's the interim GM.
If you like, again, the way they've done things is they've hired guys from inside.
Well, they better not do that.
It sound like there's going to be a GM search.
Well, there better be a GM search, because here's the way this needs to go down, right? You start a GM search now. You know, it may take you several weeks. It may take you a couple months to find the right GM externally, I hope, Leroy.
Do we want Louis Riddick because we see him on TV, or he's good at it? Because he did have a job in the front office. And
how happily retired is Ozzie Newsome? Is there any chance we can pull him out?
Ozzie's still with the Ravens, man.
He's with the organization, but he's not
just
the
not
GM.
Yeah, he's not the GM. So basically, he's getting paid, but he ain't doing the day-to-day.
It's like a no-show job.
No, he's consulting. Is he
consulting?
Yeah.
How happy is he with that job?
I mean, he's still happy.
Probably really happy. He's good. I mean, it was here. Let me just finish the timeline. So it may take you several weeks, a couple months to find a new GM. So you keep Mike McDaniel employed, lame duck, and then the next GM can find his next head coach. The next GM, even if it can't happen right away for contractual reasons, you tell your next GM, hey, even if you're stuck with Tua for a year because of the contract, we're going to give you the autonomy to evaluate. If you want to get a new quarterback, you can do so. So I hope that's how this plays out, because I think to do it this way with the organizational reset, starting with firing the GM, that's the right process to do things. And even if Mike McDaniel gets to finish out the season, he is on the clock, because I don't believe he's going to be our head coach next year.
You don't think?
No.
It's
got to happen in threes, baby. One down is Greer.
Yeah.
Next is McDaniel. And the thing
Tua, you're on the clock.
Tua's on the clock only because of that money. But whoever the next head coach and general managers are,
they'll eat it for a year.
You can eat it for a year. Like
no. I mean, Tua's going to be here for next year.
No, but I'm saying you'll eat it for a year with Tua. But then that's after 26. You're
right.
All right.
Correct.
Which is why I said yesterday, now that you're 2-8, you're 2-7. I'm sorry, 2-7. 2-7, right?
Yeah.
2-7. Doesn't look like the playoffs is happening.
Right.
You still
By the way, I see this comment. He's absolutely right. One of the comments in our YouTube chat. I hope Stephen Ross doesn't say to the next GM, you can do anything else, but you have to make it work with Tua. He's our guy. Or McDaniel, for that matter. Because, like, Leroy, one of the issues this Dolphins organization has become the mess it's been is all these half measures, right? You keep a GM, hire a new coach, you hire a new coach, you keep the same GM, and you don't know who's got, necessarily organizational final say with certain things. Like, I think a full reset is the only way to get this thing rolling.
Yeah. I mean, to some extent, depending on what what the new guy's doing.
So yeah, with the season, if you're 2-7 right now, season in shambles, you're probably going to have a high draft pick. If Mendoza fits the criteria of whoever the new head coach and general manager is, I can see it happening.
The Jets are
South
going to
Florida
pick
kid.
Mendoza.
Oh, the Saints, the Dolphins, the Jets, all these teams will be involved if they're looking for a quarterback and if they're in need of a quarterback.
Right.
So yes, the South Florida kid, trust me, that will get this fan base going again.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because you already know that right. There's already a narrative that Dolphins don't sign local players, or they don't like to sign or draft UM players. There was a narrative of that. So trust me, right now with the fan base the way it is, you bring a local kid back home and have him.
I don't care who they bring in. First
and he's good. And he's good.
First and foremost, I need him to be able to play.
And he's good.
Yeah.
Right. Like the
need him to be able to stay healthy.
The hometown stuff may be a bonus, but the first thing you need to do is go out there and get good players. So
yeah. All right, we're going to continue to cover Chris Greer. You call it a parting of the ways. I'm saying he got fired, right?
You can call it what you want. Hey, you can call it what you want. He was the GM.
He gone.
He was the GM yesterday, and he not the GM today.
That's right. Now, there's also, like Vlad mentioned, reports that Mike McDaniel's good for the rest of the season. So we have so much to get to.
He good for now. They ain't gonna clip him.
He good for now. For later, I don't know. But we're gonna keep it rolling here. FM 104.3, Tobin and Leroy Show, WQAM.
What was I?
Oh, sorry about that. I was caught up in a Chris Greer rabbit hole. So I'm not the hobnob, but I was looking up all sorts of Chris Greer stuff. So Chris Greer is no longer the Miami Dolphins general manager, for those just joining us here on 104.3 WQAM. I'm Alex Dono filling in for Brendan Tobin. We got Leroy here. We got Vlad weighing in. So Barry Jackson, Nodio, I mentioned, Leroy, that the timetable to hire a new GM might take a couple months. It might have to, because as Barry Jackson noted, other executives and GMs around the league, if you're going after somebody who's currently employed, they're under contract, till the end of the season. So you can't just bring in a new permanent GM right now unless you find somebody who's currently unemployed, which may not be the best thing depending on who's out there. Would you like to, Leroy, take a stroll down memory lane of some of Chris Greer's worst draft choices as the Miami Dolphins general manager?
Yeah.
We're playing the hits today. Who would you say, out of some of these names? I think Charles Harris was the worst draft pick. Set 22nd
the Missouri
overall
rush
pick.
In?
Yeah, the
Wasn't
Missouri rush in.
in? Yeah.
2017. That
Yeah,
was probably the worst. Noah Igbenogany was up there, the
The
cornerback.
reason why I don't say that was one of the worst ones, because it was a third first round pick.
Oh, that's
and
right.
Noah
Yeah.
Igbenogany was really, really, really young.
Yeah.
So now I will say this. I think one of the biggest tests to see if it was a good pick or not, if you had not taken him, would somebody else have taken him? Right? Because there's a lot of, like the Charles Harris. Is it Charles Harris? Not Charles Harris. What's his name?
Charles Harris was the edge rusher, the bum.
Edge rusher.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else would have taken him.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I remember when they picked him, it's like, wait, first round? Are we sure? Are we sure about that?
And a lot of times you draft the guy in the first round just to get the extra year.
Yeah.
So it really has nothing to do with, right? It really has nothing to do with anything other than that. So the Noah thing, him being that young and that was your third pick, I get taking a flyer. Okay, so I'm cool with that. The Charles Harris thing, it was a little odd, right?
What about Cam Smith? Second, he was a second round pick, 51st overall.
But that's because you didn't have a first round pick that year.
That's right. He was the first pick of that draft.
Right.
You're right. That was essentially a first round pick.
So it's like things become and so as your first pick, you're expecting an impact.
Yeah.
He still ain't playing football.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
no,
how good of a
fair.
pick was that?
Yeah.
I would say the biggest issue I had with Chris Greer, I have never seen a GM sign more injured guys that end up being injured and everybody won or shocked.
Yeah. I think his problem was he liked a bargain, and like in Greer's mind, it's like, okay, I can get this guy at a discount because he's been injured, and we're just gonna bring him in and we'll fix him. But I'm getting him like 60 cents on the dollar because the guy has injury issues. Because you're right, like everybody we bring in has had injury issues. By the way, I just got an update from Vlad. So we're looking like around 12:20. We're going to talk with Omar Kelly of the Miami Herald. He's writing surprise. He's writing a column about Chris Greer right now. And so in about 30 minutes, we're going to be bringing in Omar Kelly.
Donald.
Yeah.
I play my favorite Chris Greer comment
about the O-line. That in itself. Here I'll tell you the biggest flaw of Chris Greer. You ready?
Uh-huh.
And this goes into this, right? Every contender in the NFL has built their team. I don't care what kind of quarterback you have. I don't care what kind of secondary, what kind of wide receivers you have. Every contender has built their team from the inside out. And Chris Greer tried to build a winner from outside in. Yeah. So now this will play into what Vlad is getting ready to play.
It's always interesting because Mike and I were talking about this the other day that with the offensive line, how every year that's, you guys are like, oh, we're not good enough. But then offensively, we're a pretty good offense the last 2 years. And a number of you guys have talked about how the guys have improved. Those guys on the offensive line have worked their tails off. We feel confident in them. The coaching staff believes in them. And Butch and Mike and Frank have done a great job, and Lem in helping those guys develop and work. And so I think the important thing is they all work together. It's a really cohesive unit, and just watching them work together is great every day. They hang out together. So it's a very close-knit unit. That said, we'll have someone in the practice squad like we always do. And just for your information, we released Jack Driscoll recently.
That'll fix it.
Because we claimed Grant Dubose wide receiver, and so that was the roster.
Wait, who? They even make the squad?
No idea. I don't know who any of these people are.
Still off, and just unfortunately a numbers crunch for us.
So here's the other thing. That's all fine and great, right? What he was saying at that time, sure, you could buy it. But here's the kicker. You had a left tackle who couldn't play all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And the only good offensive lineman you had, you couldn't bring back. So when you're having this conversation then, and you're talking about development and how good all these guys are going to work, none of those guys are here now. So that was a moot point. And that's the problem. If you ever would have treated that position with some importance or some urgency, then you would have tried to re-sign Robert Hunt early. You would have kind of had a plan for the left tackle sooner, because you know what his situation was. Now, I don't know what football world the Dolphins are in, but in my football world, when you look at all the good football teams, the one thing they talk about is how many games their offensive line have played together.
Right.
Right.
But they hang out together though, this one. So that makes up for all of it.
How many did they play together? Right. So think about when you go to the good offensive line and they put how many starts they've had together, how many, right? And guys get hurt. I understand that. But in the last 5 or 6 years, I can almost guarantee you this team has never had the same starting five for a full season.
I can guarantee you're correct on that.
Start there. Now go to the teams that won a championship.
Yeah.
So if the teams that are winning the championships find it important to have continuity and to have the same guys doing it and having them grow together, right? How can you have 5, 6, 7, 12, 20 different combinations of offensive line in the last 5 years and say what you listened to just now? It doesn't make sense when you can see the NFL's very cyclical, right? Everybody sees what teams are having success with, what the Super Bowl champ is having, and they go, you know what? Let's do something similar to that. But he refused to put an investment into the offensive line. He always went and shopped at Temu. Always. So, no, don't. I'm like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear when I'm watching what Detroit did, and I'm watching what Philly does, and I'm looking at what Indy did, and I'm looking at all these different teams that are having success right now. Said, the hell with wide receivers. We're going to get us an offensive line. We're going to put a quarterback behind him. It don't even have to be a damn good one, because everybody dismissed Daniel Jones. And he's sitting behind that great offensive line, and look at him now. Please don't tell me that having an offensive line and having a front a defensive line isn't important when I'm watching all the teams that's winning starting off where?
We're going to do it a different way. We're going to do it without blocks is how we're going to do it here in the Chris Grier
Right.
Dolphins era. But the Chris Grier era is over. Noon hour is coming up. We'll talk more about it. Chris Grier is no longer the GM of the Miami Dolphins. That news broke earlier in this 11 a.m. hour. We'll talk more about it in the noon hour. We'll talk more about it in the 1 o'clock hour. Hawk will talk about it in the 2 o'clock hour and so on. 12:20. We're going to be joined by Omar Kelly from the Miami Herald. He's finishing up a column on the Greer firing or parting of the ways, whatever you want to call it. Omar's finishing up a column. He's going to join us in about 25 minutes right here on FM 104.3 WQAM. 12 o'clock hour on the Tobin and Leroy show, 104.3 WQAM on a busy Miami Dolphins news day. Let's get to our headlines. Brought to you by Doral Kia, home of the Pricito, our lowest price. Visit us at Doral Kia or at DoralKia.com. And Leroy, the only headline that matters right now to the South Florida sports fan is Miami Dolphins general manager Chris Grier is the GM no longer. He has parted ways, or you could say the Dolphins organization parted ways with him. So Champ Kelly is the interim GM of the Dolphins. I would like to think a full search of all the top available candidates will be now underway.
So somebody said, hey, Leroy, you say that you can find an offensive lineman anywhere, and now you're saying it's important. Come on, man. Here's what
I don't believe you really said that or that you meant it that way.
Here, sometimes, because when you do a show with Tobin and you start talking about offensive linemen, it gets a little. But here's what I say. The most important thing for an offensive line is continuity. Like, if you have an offensive line that gets 16 of the 17 starts together, that offensive line is usually going to be one of the top offensive lines just because of continuity. I said you don't need a Pro Bowler at every position.
Okay.
And you can find offensive linemen to fit your system and what you're trying to do. But the one thing that an offensive line needs, unlike a lot of positions on football. So for example, a quarterback needs that timing with the wide receiver. He needs to know how fast the guy is when he has to throw it up, how he's going to come into certain routes. That okay? Yeah. But offensive line is probably just as important playing together, because you need to know, okay, how long do I need to stay with this guy before I go with my guy? My guy has problems going left. My guy, and you kind of work those things out. Okay, when you've changed offensive lines over and over again and you don't have that continuity, right? Mm-hmm. So, you can find offensive linemen anywhere, but the most important thing is continuity. This team has had more injured offensive linemen that you brought in injured.
Yeah, right. Like, it's not a surprise that they're injured because they were injured when you brought them in.
It's right. As much as I love Teron Armstead, right?
Yeah, you knew what you were getting.
It as great as he was when he played.
Yeah.
It hamstrung this team.
And the guy couldn't even practice. Like, he could.
Right.
Couldn't practice with the team.
So here is like, so again, you don't need Hall of Fame offensive linemen, right? I think in my career on the offensive line, I've only played with one Hall of Famer.
Really?
Right. And that was Randall McDaniel. That's it. Right? One. But I had really good offensive line. I had a good offensive line in Cleveland a couple of years. I had good offensive line in Minnesota.
You didn't play with the Matthews?
Huh?
You didn't play with the Matthew brother?
No, he was in Houston. I played with the other brother that was a linebacker.
The linebacker. You played
with Clay Matthews. Not Bruce.
Gotcha.
So, there's like, we're overcomplicating this to the point where people have to get snippy about making the wrong choices. And that's what that was. Right? Like, I'm not saying you could just get 5 bums to come in and they would play together and be offensive line. But I'm saying that you don't need 5 Pro Bowlers, 5 Hall of Famers.
You need scheme fit, you need cohesion, you need continuity.
Right. All of which you can't have with injured players.
No.
So that in itself, if I tell you, go look at, some of the best offensive lines in the league, the one thing they have is continuity. Guys don't miss games. They're together. Game after game after game. That's how you build it.
Yeah.
So to say, oh, we're going to bring a guy. He didn't play last year because he tore an Achilles, and you're going to bring him in like, yeah, man. Like that's not how you get there, right? Now, you would like to have a combination of young talent. You would like to have some veterans, right? I thought, and they didn't do it, but I always said, play Patrick Paul at guard next to Teron Armstead, so he would get an idea how the next guard should play next to him.
Yeah,
but they never did it.
No, of course not.
And I'll give you the best example of it I know of firsthand. Jonathan Ogden, Hall of Fame left tackle. When he got into the league, Tony Jones was the left tackle. Pro Bowl Tony Jones. They put Jonathan Ogden at left guard. So he played a couple years at left guard.
Yeah.
Because he was good enough to be one of your top 5. So
didn't we do that? I mean, previous coaching regime, but with Laramie Tunsil, didn't he start at guard and then move to tackle?
I think no, I'm not sure. But that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Right? So you get so the guy learns how to play with other people. When you play that guard position and then you move out to tackle, now you've learned how that guard should act. So now you can pass that on to the next guard. So we just like how they tried to construct this. And if it starts there, all of the issues you're having on the outside or with the run game, with everything else, starts with that, right? Like, Jahmyr Gibbs is great, but look at that offensive line, right? Look, Daniel Jones was left for dead.
Yeah, and look at him now with an offensive line.
Right. So like, if I would have to say, what is the biggest mistake Chris Grier made? I would say he built the team from outside in. And not only did he build it from outside in, he used assets to build it from outside in. So now you're using assets. You're building a team that's not designed over the long haul for success, because most of the teams that are built for the long haul, right, are usually built from the inside out. And then you go from there. Like, say what you want about Jalen Hurts. Dude, a couple of years ago, they were wondering if Jalen Hurts was the guy. And they won a Super Bowl.
And look at that offensive line, man.
Right, exactly.
I want to have a line like that. So Chris Grier has been let go or mutually parted ways with the Miami Dolphins.
Mutually parted ways is you've been in the organization long enough, we're not going to say you got fired.
Yeah, we're not going to shame you with our public statement is what that means. Well, so let me, okay, so something, and people are bringing this up in our live chat. And by the way, I want to open up, later on this hour, open up the phone lines. So Omar Kelly's going to join us in a few, and then after Omar, I want to take the calls from the Dolphin fans out there. But Leroy, how much of it, people are asking this question, how much of a role do you think public pressure played in Stephen Ross making this move? Because obviously he and Greer have been tight. Greer was with the organization even before Ross bought the team. And now for the last, 15 or so years, they've been really, really tight. Greer has moved up the organization. Greer has been Mr. Ross's trusted confidant in football matters. It's clear that, he's been Steve Ross's football guy. I'm wondering, the paper bags over the head, what Dolphin fans have been saying for the past couple of years, especially about Greer, how much that public pressure, people leaving the stadium early, booing and all. I know Mr. Ross is an 85-year-old man. I don't know how much time he spends on TikTok and Twitter, but I know some of this stuff gets through. People are flying the banner planes over the stadium.
Yeah.
I've got to think public pressure played at least some of a role in this.
I would say no, because he was steadfast. I think something happened. Something happened where he just came to the realization that something has to be done, right? And you could tell he was getting there. But like Vlad said, when you see him leave some of these games, it's affecting him. But he's trying to be, patient. He's always been a very patient guy, which I respect. Right? Because the other sign of a bad organization is making a whole bunch of changes quick. Right?
Yeah.
So maybe he wrote it out too long.
Yeah.
right? And so from that standpoint, I get it. But something happened, right? Something happened from last night to now that just made him have a conversation with Chris Greer and say, look, we got to do it.
I think he was getting there, but I think last night helped nudge him
Right.
over.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, his son also might have to say so in it.
Yeah, the son-in-law, yeah.
The son-in-law, who's also in his ear. So,
yeah, and so all right. Well, I wanna hit the break.
we're gonna get Omar.
If y'all break.
Oh wow!
What was it, Vlad? I was about to do it. Yeah,
But
yeah.
yo,
You're
I'm telling you, like the last 3 minutes, you've been sending texts
You
like
have
this
been?
break.
Oh, sorry about that. Let's break. We're gonna talk with Omar Kelly from the Miami Herald when we come back on 104.3 WQAM.
No, I don't want to do anything scary. And I definitely don't want makeup. Hmm?
I get that. We'll have a lot of time to think about it.
Welcome back into the Tobin and Leroy show. You talk about a big news Friday morning. Chris Grier is no longer the GM of the Miami Dolphins. Alex Dono filling in for Brendan Tobin. Leroy is here. Vlad is here. And Omar Kelly, Miami Herald columnist, joins us now. All right, Omar, let's start with I'll give you a two-parter to start with. Were you surprised that this went down today with Chris Grier, that he's been fired? And what do you think ultimately pushed Stephen Ross to make this decision today?
The third embarrassing loss of the season. I'll start by giving you the first answer. A team that looked like they weren't prepared because they really weren't. A roster that looked completely dysfunctional, which it is. A quarterback that looked like he has tremendous limitations, which he does. And an executive that you absolutely have no trust and confidence that can fix it all, which is Chris Grier. Now, should Chris Grier have been fired last year or the year before that or the year before that? Probably. But as I've said, and I haven't hidden from it, I thought the fact that he had been around during the Brian Flores era and ultimately knew where the bodies were buried, and Flores has a lawsuit that is entering class action stage, deposition process. I thought that was going to be really complicated for Steve Ross. But ultimately, you have to look out for your fan base. And when I'm telling you, they not only didn't raise prices, but they gave you a $250 credit for renewing your season ticket in terms of merchandise and food that you could buy. That's a point where you know you have absolutely turned off your fan base. And I don't think anything short of firing Chris Grier would have done. Now, I honestly don't think they're done, but I understand what they're doing, which I call it the organic tank.
Right. Well, Omar, the other thing is that you think Chris Grier was itchy? It had an itchy trigger finger to do something at the trade deadline, and Ross said, no.
I personally think you should make moves because this thing needs to be nuked. It needs Hiroshima, like no doubt about it. I'm writing a column now for the Miami Herald. Do not stop there. Purge it all. And while there are some great people who have been a part of this organization, and literally some people who've been here 33 years within this organization in the scouting department.
Right.
Good people, great people, but they have the cancer of mediocrity that this organization has been plagued by since 2000. Say whatever you want about Dave Wanstead. Those are some good years for Dolphins fans. Those are the last time you were relevant, just like Larry Coker was the last time you were relevant for Hurricane fans.
Yeah, but you're right. You know what? I would say, one of the biggest problems I had with Chris Grier is the NFL seems to be very cyclical. And there's a point in time over the last 5 or 6 years where everybody has gone out of their way to build an offense and defensive line.
Oh, please.
And he refused.
That isn't even new school. That's old school.
Right. But he mocked us about it.
Listen, Leroy. it's funny because I was planning to write a very harsh toned column about Chris Greer because I found his first press conference in an interview I did with him. And the first thing he said was, I'm going to build the trenches. And while they did technically build the trenches and then lost the trenches because they wouldn't pay the trenches, everything that he said in that 90-minute clip that I have that I did share on social media, and the only reason I didn't write it was because his father passed that week. And I was like, you know what? I can't pull the death blow, give you a DDT on the week your father dies.
Timing is everything.
And so I pulled back. But he didn't do everything he said he was going to do as a general manager when he got the job. He did the complete opposite.
He built,
and I was just like,
who does that?
No, that was Flores. Outside in was Flores. It started that way. They wanted that, but that's Chris Greer. That had been Chris Greer's problem. He was too accommodating to everybody.
Yes,
to the point where I believe Steve Ross had to sit him down and say, "You are in charge. You make the decisions. You run this organization with conviction. No more deferring to people." And like, I'm sorry, but if you have to tell a leader that, they're not much of a leader.
Correct.
Facts.
Correct.
Now, he was in power because he was so easy to work with, but he was so easy to work with because he just did what everybody wanted him to do.
Right.
So let me go back to, when you gave us your first answer when you're talking about, why this happened and why this happened now with Grier. What's the next move then, Omar? Because I would imagine if you're gonna nuke this thing, right? What's the next move to be made after this Chris Grier firing?
Find out what people are offering for what parts you have, and get yourself some draft picks. Get yourself some players that have long contracts and some upside, some potential. Start scouring the waiver wire for players on this roster. This team does not release wave players. They don't. Under the Mike McDaniel era, everybody is safe. That has been a horrible culture for this organization, to the point where I remember, and I say it, the bloody Monday when when they played poorly against Tennessee during the Gase era, and Gase cut 3 draft-picked offensive linemen, whacked them. And from that point on, that offensive line became the Unicorns. You have to have accountability in organizations. And when you see players make mistake after mistake after mistake, like I wrote a column, the dumbest thing I've ever seen Mike McDaniel do was throw a fade to Devon Achane in the back of the end zone. When has fades ever worked for you? Right. You're throwing it to your smallest player and a running back? Like, okay, then you dig deeper and you find out, I was running a fade, but I'm not the primary on that play. Then you find out the receiver who is the primary runs the wrong route. Then it's like never ending cycle. You watch the games. You've seen what happens in the games.
Yeah,
they have no margin for error. They have no margin for error, and they just consistently shoot themselves in the foot.
Now, is that because of the coaching, or is it because you don't have the players that can actually, pick it up, or is it because you have a whole bunch of new players or guys that are in and out? Like, there's so many different reasons as to why.
It's all
Omar,
of it.
But Omar, hear me out with this. The biggest problem I have with everything that's going on is I thought the Dolphins would fare well yesterday for this reason, because they had a short week, and some of the stuff they did on Sunday, if they just kept doing it because they couldn't change it, and he never did it. Why is he so quick to change when they haven't stopped what you're doing? He changes on his own. He's overcoaching.
Yes, it's funny that you say that, because I don't want to put their personal business out. I asked the player, like, that worked on Sunday. Y'all have a short week. Y'all aren't practicing.
Yeah.
Y'all are still running similar plays or working on some things that are consistent with what you guys have had success with. He's like, nope, entirely new playbook. And I was like, oh God.
That's
Oh my
right.
God.
I was like,
you understand what I'm saying? Like
I do understand what you're saying.
Like
Yeah.
you do it until they stop you. If it's 5 weeks, then it's 5 weeks. If it's 5 plays, then it's
But he
5
was,
plays.
hold on, Leroy. He was doing it. He was running his 6th offensive line. He was running his jumbo package, which I will argue to you is the best package they have at this point.
Yes.
Do not give 2 of 5 targets because you know you need 2 of them to block for him.
Yeah.
Right.
Like he's just playing with 3 targets out there, and you're just relying on his accuracy and giving him time. Like, stop pretending you're something you're not. You cannot protect this quarterback. Like, stop pretending you can. You do not have any weapons. You don't have 3 receivers. Like, then you don't activate Jalen Wright, which I'm not going to sit here and say was a bad move because I agreed with it. Taj Washington is the only player on this team that could give you what Tyreek Hill did in terms of a player who can make you miss, other than Devon Achane, of course. He is the only player here.
Agreed.
So I thought, give him 6 plays, have those 6 plays, use them at the right time, and maybe you can simulate some of the things that Tyreek did that your offense is built for. Hell, the guy gets his first play and fumbles first catch and fumbles the ball. Obviously, Mike naturally said, all right, let me scratch all those off. Like, you know, no 2 tight ends, no 3rd receiver. It's like, it's, you know, it's a recipe for disaster. But these are the cards that you're dealt. You lose Tyreek.
You have a say-so in it, though, and you're choosing like
to make things complicated.
Right.
Yeah.
You listen. He has some incredible plays, but here's the problem: they run great plays. They have no actual function or no. Like you don't set up one play to the next. So if I'm running an offensive play.
He does. That play that Ollie scored on, he ran that earlier in the game, and he just flipped sides. And so they have
but the caveat to me is, okay, you running that bubble screen. The guy's going out to kick out, and then you slip the kick out guy and run him up the sideline.
Yeah.
That's do that. A caveat.
They do that. The bubble screen is a staple fake. Now, teams sitting in Tua's passing routes, he gonna throw it. That's what they're doing. They're dictating to him where he's going with the ball.
But it just seems to me like every time they have something going, right? They are so quick to get off of it. And I'm watching the TV. I'm going, why? If you can't stop it, we're gonna do it all day. This is where you are. You barely have a team. When they do something good, we're gonna keep doing it until we can't do it anymore because that's where we are. Leave well enough alone. They put themselves in harm's way more than the other team puts them in harm's way.
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing to me.
They are a team that has no margin for error that consistently makes errors.
Right. And the dumb ones, not even and by the way, I would have lost my mind if the coach would have came and yelled at me about that tripping call, and it was a bad call.
Yeah, it was a terrible call.
Dude, come on, that wasn't even a penalty.
Hold on. We saw it on replay. And honestly, it's a bad call, but the refs are watching it live. Do you think they caught his slip live?
No.
I don't think they did.
When they huddled, somebody had to see it.
The Studsville on the sidelines catch his slip live? Nah. So they got into it. Then I'm sure when Studsville saw the fact that he had slipped, it was a judgment call. The refs, but understand when the refs threw the flag, they sat and talked about it for like a couple minutes before they actually gave their ruling.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, for me, as a Thursday night game that I need to be competitive, I would have swallowed that flag if I were the refs.
Right.
Because that would have made the game a whole lot more interesting.
Correct.
But, they stayed convicted to what their decisions are.
So let's go here. Trade deadline is Tuesday.
Yes.
I think they didn't want Grier to have anything to do with any of that. Yeah, like you more and know what's going on more than that. But my question is this: we talk about Chubb and we talk about JP. Is JP a better Junon? Well, Junon is you're gonna get nothing for it because he ain't even playing, right? But what about between JP and Chubb? JP, you got to decide whether you want to pay him. So wouldn't that, like, his contract's up, right? He's a free agent next year.
Yeah, they're not gonna pay him.
No.
Sorry, I'm not naive enough.
So that's my point. You can lose him for nothing. So wouldn't he be the better option to trade over Chubb?
If it's for the right price. If it's for the
I got you. Right.
Same thing with Chubb. You're gonna cut Chubb at the end of the year. It's better to trade him now for what you can get. If this team should be selling. You should now. Right. If it's a 6th-round pick, what do I care about a 6th-round pick for Chubb?
Right.
Maybe I don't have to pay his salary for the remainder of the year. Now I'm not giving players away, but
right. If there's another Greer out there, then
Greer doesn't make. Hold on, that's the one thing. I'm not a Greer fan, but I am not going to let you slander him. Greer does not make bad trades. He has made one bad trade, which was Josh Rosen, and that was forced on him.
Well, because but here's the deal though. Okay, a bad trade to me is you trade for a player that doesn't work out and you lose the asset also. That means you got nothing out of the deal. That's a bad trade.
I mean, I don't know if that amounts to a bad trade. I look at a bad trade as, do the numbers match up? Did you win or lose? Because there's a trade value chart, whether you believe in it or not. I still believe in it. Do you win the trade or do you not win the trade?
If the guy don't play, then no, you lost. You gave up assets for nothing.
I mean, sometimes you just try to get rid of contracts.
When you giving up 1st-round picks, 2nd-round picks,
or you talking about Chubb? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm not talking about Chubb. Chubb was fine. I don't have a problem with Chubb. There's been trades where he's brought who's the lineman. Did he just sign him or he traded for him?
Which lineman?
The broke lineman.
Daniels?
James Daniels. That was a free agent.
Free agent.
That's a free agent,
He's also like, listen, if what has plagued you the last couple of years has been injured players, why you keep signing injured players?
Because the non-injured ones were $20 million a year.
Let me ask you this though, Omar, because honestly, hold on. I'm tired about talking about Chris Grier for a second because now I want to talk about what's next because Grier is out, okay?
Yeah.
Omar, so this process for Stephen Ross, what sort of a profile do you think he's going to look for the next GM? And is he going to give the next GM, the power to make a coaching change if he wants to? Because we've seen it happen in the past where sometimes you bring in an executive with the condition of you can't fire the coach. So how do you think
you have to inherit the quarterback, or you have to work?
Yeah, is the next GM going to have power to draft a new quarterback, to get a new coach
and this defensive coordinator? That's my point of my column in the Miami Herald. No strings attached. Scorch earth cleanse. Let whoever you hire, whether it be a head coach or a GM, a head coach and the head coach picks a GM, or the GM and the GM picks the head coach. Let them build it all. Let them start from fresh. Don't force them to inherit Tua. Don't force them to inherit Weaver. Don't force them to inherit this executive. Let them build it fresh. Don't put restrictions and limitations. But I say this all the time. If you look back at Steve Ross's history, he does 2 things. He always hires first-timers, except for Mike Tannenbaum. And to me, you need some sort of experience. And I could honestly tell you, I don't even know if there's a name out there. I like Bruce Arians as the experienced executive. Go from coach to executive, build my team. That's what I like. I like Bruce Arians. I believe in Bruce Arians. I could be sold on John Gruden. This man has made hour-long videos breaking down the Miami Dolphins. That it's not an accident that he's doing that. I love Louis Riddick. Louis Riddick is probably one of the best evaluators. If you look at the last 8 years quarterbacks that have developed into quarterbacks, the quarterbacks, Louis Riddick has been going against the grain, predicting that they would be quarterbacks. If it's Louis Riddick, let it be Louis Riddick. We don't know if Tomlin's going to be available. We don't know if Harbaugh's going to be available. We don't know what's going to happen. I'm not the Dallas Cowboys coach
McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy.
Not doing it for me. But I do want him to get somebody with experience, either that route or a very controversial opinion of mine, which is I would like to hand the franchise to two former players that I believe that they would know how to build an organization, to build a team. Jason Taylor is one, and Zach Thomas is the other.
I like Jason Taylor where he is right now, so hands off.
Sorry, sir. I think Jason Taylor would rather build the Dolphins. Sorry.
I get it.
No
I get
offense
it.
to you, Alex.
I know. I get it.
But I get it. You know, they're not going to do that. I'm an out the box thinker. My first order of business would be to knock on Zach Thomas's door and say, Zach, we know you don't want to be involved in football. We know you've gone out of your way to make sure that you raised your kids. They're teenagers now. They don't care about you. They don't want to hear anything from you. Zach, can you please take over the Miami Dolphins for this short period of time? Even if you just set it up for us, hire the coaches, hire the executives, do a couple years of scouting. I'm all for that. Now, that's going to be out the box thinking, but I am an out the box thinker. You need somebody who, and that's the problem with the NFL now, in my opinion, and Leroy could say that. Leroy could probably chime in on this. Too many people who don't know football, haven't played football, are making decisions about football.
Correct.
And I believe the people who have tremendous amount of success in terms of evaluating talents are the people who have done it well. Not even done it well, but done it. Like, they don't have to play at the Larry Bird level or the Michael Jordan level, because Michael Jordan sure wasn't a success. But they don't have to even be the Ozzie Newsome level. But the Dan Morgans of the world, I want you running my organization because you know what a football player looks like. You know what the mentality is. You know what a player who's just there for the money looks like and how he conducts himself.
Yeah.
These people who don't know football and don't do football, half the time I could tell you some of these executives have no idea what they're looking at from a talent standpoint.
There's a lot of former players that are either coaches or in the front office that are having success right now.
Yeah.
But
they don't want to open the door to those people because those people expose them as.
And no, what happens is they expose all of the other guys that
exactly.
The owner may want that, but it's all the other 25 guys.
The fraternity, the other, they don't want that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, we got to run on that note.
A scout right away. Yeah. He can tell a scout right away that, hey, what players do you like? No.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, we're up against it. We appreciate it. Omar, when's the column come out?
Probably within the next 30 minutes.
I love it.
I stopped what I was doing for you guys because I love you.
That's why
they said Dono, Vlad called me and I talked to Leroy who knows football. I said, damn, let me get wiser.
We love it. At Omar Kelly on X. We'll be back. We'll wrap up the 12 o'clock hour. We're talking Chris Grier all day, baby, right here on FM 104.3 WQAM. Welcome back into the Tobin and Leroy Show, wrapping up the 12 noon hour here on 104.3 WQAM. So Chris Grier is out as Miami Dolphins GM. So the other part of it, Leroy, Adam Schefter, we'll be quick on this one so we make sure we can get to the 1 o'clock hour somewhat on time. But Adam Schefter said that Mike McDaniel is going to remain the Miami Dolphins head coach through the end of the season at least. Now, the words at least make me a little uneasy. I'm okay running through the remainder of the year, but like we talked about this with Omar in the back nine, like I want, if you hire, assuming you hire a new GM that everyone's going to be really excited about, give that person the power to bring in their own coach if that's what they want.
Yeah, I think this is just decisions that are being made right now.
Yeah.
But like there's probably more in-depth and detailed stuff that'll probably happen as the season goes on. And I think that's just where he is right now, right?
Yeah.
I don't really think he wanted to do anything with Chris Grier.
Nope.
Right? But it just got to a point where like you got to do something. There's a lot of things like I would say when you give up a lot of assets to get players and those players don't produce for whatever reason, then that's not a good trade. And that means now you've given up assets and money to players who aren't producing. So regardless of what people think, that to me determines a good trade. Okay? When you traded for Jalen Ramsey and he was D'ing up and he was balling out, okay, all right, I can deal with that. That's pretty good. But guess what? Now he ain't on your team and the assets you gave up for him are gone. Then how good of a trade was that? I need, for a trade to work, I need one or the other. I need the player or my damn pick.
Yeah.
But I can't end up at the end of the trade with neither.
That's right. Well said.
And so that's just basically how that goes. Now, the other thing is that like it's a big deal to me that they signed so many injured players.
Yeah.
And
it's been one of my chief complaints for the Greer era.
So then turn around and complain when a guy is hurt. Right? Like, so it's a tough job, right? But a lot of it was Chris Grier's own doing for whatever reason, right? So now, if you're a fan, I couldn't look forward to my picks. The guy we got was injured, right? And now we got to wait another 2 years before we have a first round pick or whenever, right? That's no fun.
No.
Right? And then for whatever reason, right, you drafted Tua instead of Herbert. Now I'm not like that's a preference. So
yeah.
If that
and also Tua was injured, which is worth noting, which is why as soon as Greer saw, wait, you're telling me he's coming off hip surgery? He's ours.
Right. Which is the only problem I had with deciding between Tua and Herbert. That I said then, and I'll say it now. If I have a choice, I will take a healthy player. I don't care how good the injured player is. Simply because if you're rebuilding, I don't have time for rehab. I need a guy to hit the ground running. It's simple as that. So I don't know why does this seem so difficult for teams to be able to figure out? Hey, I need all my assets on the field, right? If I draft them, I need to do everything I can to keep them, and then we build that way. It's not like who you draft. That has to do with player personnel and being able to select talent, right? But how you pick players or how you acquire talent, that's the part that has this team right now in a bind. Because how they have procured talent and the assets and the monies that they gave up to get that talent, they're not only not getting the talent, but now they're out the money or the asset. That's the problem with all of this.
For sure. Well, when we come back, start the 1 o'clock hour. Vlad, can we open up the phone lines when we come back and we'll do open phones for the 1
Yeah, let's
p.m.
do
hour.
that.
If you want to get in, 305-567-0560,
Don't curse.
305-567-0560.
Yeah, come on now.
Don't curse. Seriously.
Oh, yeah,
don't.
please don't curse. Yeah, please. You want to react to Chris Greer? Do it in the PG way if you can. 1 o'clock hour, Tobin and Leroy coming your way next. Welcome into the 1 o'clock hour, Tobin and Leroy show. Dono filling in for Tobin today. I'm sure Tobin is pleased with the news of the Dolphins are going in a different direction. Leroy here, Vlad is here.
He's tweeted.
He's stoked.
Oh yeah,
He's tweeted. Tobin has
Yeah.
tweeted. Tobin said when the Adam Schefter report that McDaniel was gonna stay for the rest of the season, he tweeted Stephen Ross once again half-assing it. So
That's what I'm saying. But the thing that the Schefter thing, the part of it that worried me was the word "at least" at the end. That like McDaniel's going to stay for the rest of the season at least. Like no, at least you can end it at for the rest of the season, and we can let the rest of it be up in the air. By the way, our headlines are brought to you by Doral Kia, home of the Pricito, our lowest price. Visit us at Doral Kia or DoralKia.com. We're going to open up the phone lines in just a second at 305-567-0560. So Chris Greer is no longer the general manager of the Miami Dolphins. How do you want me to do this, Vlad, in terms of just throwing open the phones? Do you want to just pull somebody up? Do you have any names there for me? Because I know the folks out there want to vent about this. Well, vent or celebrate, I guess.
I will. You know what? I'll type in the calls on a private chat.
Yeah, do that. Type them in on the private chat. So we're going to be getting to that in just a moment. All right, Leroy, by the way, I saw a reaction from Tyreek Hill, who is sad. He sent out a sad emoji after the news of Greer. Remember, Tyreek Hill made some good money off of a Chris Greer trade.
Here's what I would say. One has nothing to do with the other. You can like a guy, and you can respect a guy.
That's a great point.
And he could
take
suck
the
at
human
his
side
job.
out of it sometimes.
What people tend to do is they want to lump it all together. So if I say you're a jackass, that means I don't like you. And that means that what you just did makes you a jackass. That's it. That's it. I can move on with my life, right? If I yell at you about something, it doesn't mean I don't like you. It means I'm angry at what just happened. We all get too up in our feelings and try to, kind of take away from what we did to get here. So, stop. Chris Greer could be a great guy. Chris Greer could the nicest guy in the world. Okay. That's not why Chris Greer is not the GM anymore.
Yeah.
One has nothing to do with the other.
And he does seem like a nice guy. By the way, apparently Louis Riddick tweeted out an eyes emoji. He may be gunning for this job now, at least trying to. We'll find out. Let's go to the phones. Let's bring in first.
Hold on.
Here on the day Chris Greer has been let go.
Hold on. Some of these callers have dropped. So.
Oh, really? Already?
Yeah, they
It's
already
been like
dropped,
3 seconds since you put him on the board.
You know what? We're gonna go. Here we go. We're just gonna go random. Here we go. Line one.
Let's go. Vent.
Hello?
You're on the air. This is already going so well.
This guy dropped. All right. Hello?
Yeah, I want to talk about the.
What about it? Spit it out, brother. We got you. You're on air.
Oh, okay. All right, cool, man. I want to say the last straw, I think, in my opinion, maybe not big enough to actually get the firing, was 80's performance last night. How long has he been on the roster? And we've been hearing about him and carrying him on a roster spot, and the guy can't line up or catch.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Those
Is
are
that
two
Tanner
things you
Connor?
need.
Who's 80?
The Tanner Connor, the winner of every preseason, camp award that we've ever had, waiting for this guy to be not injured. And what was he doing? Not studying his playbook, not learning how to catch.
I see, and I'm going to be fair from this perspective, right? That's a coach thing. That ain't a Chris Greer thing, right? The Chris Greer thing may have been getting him here, right? And keeping him. But what he's doing on the field, that's a coach thing. And the hardest thing in the world to do is to try to figure out what's what. When you say the streets need a body, well, you better make sure you give them the right body. Otherwise, your problems, or you're going to have the same problems.
I think we
So,
need more bodies now.
Is it
what we need.
it the talent or the coaching of the talent? I know
I
from
think
the
it's both.
perspective. I know from the perspective of the talent, the way Chris Grier has put the team together is the opposite of the way a winning team puts a team together. That's a fact. That's not made up. That's not, and I don't care what nobody says. That's the reality of it. Omar even pointed out it's been like that through the history of football, right? And in fact, Chris Grier said that's how he's going to build the team. Now, once that talent gets on the field, good, bad, or indifferent, if you got guys on the field that don't know what they're doing, now it becomes coaching. And what I got to tell you is this, and I'm going to say this with as straight a face as I can. And I'm going to say it understanding how hard coaching is and the time you spend coaching and all of that you have to do as a coach. But I'm going to say this. If a guy is on the field that don't know what to do and you got 400 coaches, right? Shame on you. Because somebody should be coaching him up. And in fact, if you think about the Heat organization, what is the one thing they talk about? The development of young players throughout their organization.
They do a great job with it.
Right. So I'm going to give the people, I'm going to point each issue in the direction of where it should be. But once those guys get on the field, whether they're good, whether they suck, whether they're great, that becomes coaching. And you got more coaches than anybody. So that means they should be getting coached up all the time. All the time. Otherwise, if I'm the owner, I'm like, hey, come talk to me here for a second. How many coaches do we have? Right. And we got guys on the field don't know what to do. Explain that to me.
They got more coaches than players, it seems like.
Healthy.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah.
But you understand that for me, that is the hardest thing to deal with. The fact that if you have a guy on the field that don't know what to do, and you got damn near more coaches than a little bit, what are they doing? What are you doing? Listen, the coaching job is to coach them up, to have them ready to go on the field. Now, the talent aspect will come out once they're comfortable with knowing what they're doing. But if you got too many guys that don't know what the hell to do out there, but they are talented, that's coaching. That's coaching. And I'm not going to pay to have 1,000 coaches and nobody coach.
I mean, it also help, as Luis points out, if anyone could understand what Mike McDaniel is saying, if he could coach. But I don't know.
I think the conversations are a little different when he can cuss.
Oh, you think so? You think that's why he stutters so much?
Yeah,
I
think I think, but you know what? Just and I'll say this also. If you look at how they play, right? They haven't quit on him.
No.
Right? So
they haven't quit playing badly. They're just still playing badly. But
from that standpoint, they do respect him. So I'm never gonna say, like when people say just based on how they're playing, oh, they quit on him or this or that. I'm not gonna let that happen because I know what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I was on one of those teams.
Which team was that?
My rookie year, Cleveland Browns. When Bud Carson was my coach and he got fired, and it was chaos. And we had a very, very, very old team. Like I think the average age might have been 33. Yeah. And I was only 22, 21, 22. So it was crazy.
Dang. Well, that first call was pretty good. Let's we got anybody else lined up? Vlad, let's give this another swing. Hello.
Hey boys, Carlos from Plantation here.
What's up?
Hey, Carlos.
Hey, so thanks for having me on. Lifelong Fins fan here, and you know I'm glad that Greer is gone. I think this day was coming, and I agree with Leroy. Coaching is tough, and players aren't performing. We're great on paper, And what I've struggled with too, just as a fan in general, there's a zero accountability, and I think it starts with Tua and it falls on a lot of the other leaders. Again, like Leroy said, it does fall on a lot of the coaching as well. So I'm interested to see. I think this season we're imploding. I think 2026 is going to be interesting, with the draft class. I just want to see what's going to happen in the future. I don't think McDaniel's safe either, whether if he gets fired today or at the end of the season. We don't look like we're more than a 3 or 4 win game team at the moment. So we're just kind of, dealing with the frustration. So, one day at a time. I'm a big Cats fan and a Heat fan. So right now, all my faith is on the Panthers and the Heat right now. So that's all I got to say. I'm a big fan of you guys.
Thank you. And that's all you can do.
You got options.
Yeah.
You got
options at least.
Like I get it. Like the hardest part for me in all of this, right, is the hardest thing to determine when your team or your organization is bad. Is it the players or the coaches? Right? Because if you have talent, but they ain't getting coached up, then it's the coaches. If the coaches are coaching them up, but you don't have talent, then it's the GM. But the problem that I'm having with all of this is not only do I see with a problem with the construction of the team and the injured players and the guys who aren't playing and the assets that you've given up for players, but you see them make some of the craziest mistakes. Don't line up. You got to call timeouts willy-nilly because the guy is 50 yards away from where he's supposed to be and you don't have time to get him on the other side. That's coaching, right? So there's a lot of everything. A lot of everything that goes into why this team is what it is. And that's not even talking about how good or bad the players are. Before we even start talking about Tua and the tight ends and the offensive line, we haven't gotten through the first 2 levels of the organization. So now you start evaluating the players. And now you determine who can play or not. But we haven't even gotten there yet because, well, somebody jumps off sides. Somebody's lined up on the left. He should be on the right. Somebody ran the wrong route. And now you got Achane looking like a fade and he's supposed to be a clear out. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, everything is going sideways. Everybody's at fault here. And then if you want to take it one step further and then complain about the players, then go ahead. But before you get to a player to call him a bum or to say he's no good or we need another one, there's 2 other levels you have to get to before we make that determination. And those two levels might be the reason why you see the product to where you see it.
Let's
right?
go back to the phones.
That's quite possible.
We got Benjamin. Benjamin, you're on WQAM. What's going on?
Hey guys, chilling here, listening to you guys. No, I was hearing Donald say earlier about Adam Schefter saying how McDaniel, or he wrote down that McDaniel will be here until at least the end of the year. I mean, I don't see anything into that. I think the reason Greer gets fired is because he wouldn't pull the trigger on McDaniel, or at least he had big influence on that. Because if you listen to Joe Rose in the mornings, Joe Rose used to say something about McDaniel and about someone else. I don't remember who it was. And he says they like McDaniel, but they really like the other one. I think they like McDaniel is him saying, look, they wanna kind of get rid of him, but they don't know how to do it. And I guess at the end of the year they will. And once you get rid of McDaniel, yeah, the team changes completely. I really think Ewers was a steal at the draft in the round that we got him in because Ewers is a good quarterback. But, you just got to get rid of a couple pieces here and there. But, I mean, you look at it, and I think everyone can realize that it's a step in the right direction to get rid of Grier, and then from there you branch off. From there you start whatever the next GM that comes in, that next GM will make big-time decisions on the coaching staff. And one of those big-time decisions is going to be McDaniel, right?
Yeah,
It's got to be. It better be. Yeah, to your point.
Yeah, so, I mean, at the end of the day, and I haven't been hearing you guys all since you guys hopped on. I got into the car as soon as Donald said that about Schefter. So I don't know what you guys have been talking about, but yeah, I mean that's the way I see it. It's a step in the right direction. McDaniel really, I mean, it's tough to let go of a head coach in the middle of the year, 9 games in, and I don't know. It's just it's crazy to me. So they'll keep with them. They'll stick with them to not make everything go out of whack. But then, you know, those big time decisions will come later.
Thank you.
I just I don't like, again, it's hard to figure it out, but let me just say this about Quinn Ewers. Texas ran him out of town, and that's college.
Yeah, but there were circumstances there.
No,
A lot of pressure to get Arch on the field. There were circumstances like the Arch NIL deal, the whole Manning family, the weight of the entire Manning family.
Okay, I'll add another layer to that. He could have went and got NIL and made more money than he's currently making right now, and nobody wanted to pay him NIL.
That's not accurate at all. He was Ewers. No, seriously, Ewers was getting multi-million-dollar offers. He decided he didn't want to play at another college outside of Texas. He just wanted to go to the league, and he knew he was going to take a pay cut. There were, in fact, I think the local college team that I cover was interested in Quinn Ewers.
Well, I'm gonna say this, and I want you guys to understand and be careful with what you wish for. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, and in no way, by the way, when I defend Ewers' college career, in no way am I saying he's necessarily the franchise quarterback of the Dolphins. I'm not saying. I don't know if that's what the caller is trying to say.
People are. He said the team sucks anyway. Let's just give him a run. No,
I think you can give him a run. I mean, what's the point of playing Tua the rest of the season?
Because the other guys on your team, right? The veterans on your team, like, you owe it to them to always put the best player out there that gives you the best chance to win, even if you suck.
All right, I guess I can ride with that. But as a fan, I want to see what else we have.
You got to pay. You got to pay him $50 million next year. The quarterback that you were replacing with. So yeah.
All right, we're gonna come back. We'll take more calls on the other side. The big news we are talking about today: Chris Grier is out as GM of the Miami Dolphins. Why and what happens next? You want to keep it right here, 104.3 WQAM. Welcome back into the Tobin and Leroy show. Dono in for Tobin, but I know
Vlad
Tobin's
been killing it
happy.
today. This is right during my career.
Yeah, and I
Mid-90s.
can't hear the music because I'm remote on StreamYard. So all I can see is Leroy bobbing his head. I'm like, it must be a banger playing.
He's been killing it. He's been killing it. He been hitting us with the Halloween music, but wait, we going R&B side. We ain't going right. And then now he just hitting us with some 90s. Oh,
love
man,
it.
This is
I mean, it's Halloween today, but a lot of people on the text line are saying it feels more like Christmas than Halloween.
It does.
Right now.
It feels like somebody said they got their new birthday gift from the Dolphins.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Should I feel bad?
No.
Like, should I
let the man finish? Let him finish the question. Go ahead.
Should I feel like I know that this was bound to happen, right? And I know that he earned it. But should I feel bad, or should I just I'm not the kind of guy that goes serves him right, right? Like I don't know
I'll say this. I try to be a good and compassionate person. I try to very hard. I know sometimes when we're talking about celebrities, multi-million-dollar sports executives and coaches, like it's easy to forget that these are human beings because we attach the person to the job, and if they're not doing their job correctly, we want blood, right? The streets want a body, as you said. Now, I can try to say, like, from a human being standpoint, right? If anytime, if we've ever lost jobs before, we probably all have at some point in our lives, it's a crappy feeling, right? A friend, a family member loses a job, you sympathize with them, you feel bad for them, you call them, and I get it. Like, Chris Grier is a human being who just lost his job, and there is a certain part of me, if I detach the sports part of it, I can feel sympathetic because I know he worked hard. He did not produce the results to keep him employed. I know he worked hard. At the same time, I mean, no matter what your job is, Leroy, we are all held to a standard of if you're not succeeding at your job, we can all get fired. Happens to everybody.
Let me say this. You know what the difference between me and you is?
What?
That how I feel about a person and their job, I can keep separate from how I feel about the person.
No, and that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm trying to do today. Yeah.
This is not about what kind of person Chris Greer is, because we don't know what kind of person he is. This is about the job that we feel he did as the GM of our team. That's what this is all about. And so I can separate the two. I can badmouth him about the job I think he did, right? Versus what kind of guy I think he is, because I don't even discuss when I'm talking about one thing, I'm not talking about what kind of person he is, because I don't know. So we got to learn how to do that. If somebody mad at you, it don't mean they don't like you. It just means they're mad at something you did.
Yeah, sure.
Like, get over yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
No, and I'm with you. I mean, listen, I gave a sympathetic side, but you see how happy I am today, right? So
I got you.
Not crying over it.
But the thing is I would say this. I think that things would have been better if we had one or the other. Either if we had F them picks or we had F them players. But we end up with so many of these deals with neither. And now you can't go out and get nothing to make up for it. So if I had all the players and not traded assets for them, or if I had all the picks and didn't trade for the players, I'd be in a better position. Either way, if I had all those picks, I've had room to mess up.
Yeah.
But he put himself in a position where every pick became so important because you didn't have as many as you should have.
Yeah, 100%.
And the success rate of a draft anyway is 50%.
Yeah.
And you put yourself in a situation where your drafts had to be 75, 80% because of the decisions you made. So, yeah, I don't like, I'm like, man, I know what that feels like. Right? That sucks.
It does
And I was a
suck.
good player.
Yeah.
Right? Like I got cut or shipped out or whatever you want to call it, and I didn't think I was a bad player. And I went on to play 5.5 more years.
That's all fine and dandy. His ass deserves to be fired.
Yeah. Amen.
Vlad. Hey, I'm not even saying you're wrong. Listen, I agree with
Yeah.
all that.
No, I'm just saying, like
I agree. I agree with all that.
I feel bad for people losing their jobs, but if you kind of sucked at your job and you got let go, or you mutually agreed,
Right.
then
I got you.
I'm all for it.
I got you. Like, we shouldn't. It's not that I feel sympathy, right? I just, like, I know what that felt like for me, right? And I'm just like, damn, wow, this sucks, right?
Well, and I will add that, like, when a lot of folks out there get
He gonna get paid. I didn't get paid.
I was about to say that. Like, a lot, like if you get laid off from your like administrative assistant job, or you get laid off at your plumbing job, you're probably going to hit some financial uncertainties for a while.
Yeah.
That's not the case with with a
Coaches.
Brian Kelly, with
Right.
with James Franklin, and now with Chris Greer. He's going to do all right. Okay, so let's
He'll be
keep
all
that.
right.
Let's go back to the
He'll play
phones.
every
We
day
got
now.
Yeah.
Mo Skrilla. Mo Skrilla, you're on WQAM. What's up?
What's going on, gentlemen?
What's
Yeah,
happening?
I said the big thing right. Yeah, I said the big thing right there. He got money. He'll be all right.
Yeah.
He'll be all right.
Yeah.
But number one thing, I'm glad he's gone, because the dumbest thing he could have did, he didn't do. Lamar Jackson over 5 games threw 18 touchdowns against the Dolphins. 18 touchdowns. And all we had to give up was 2 first-round picks and don't pay Tua, and we could have had that man on our team. He loves to play the Dolphins. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to be down here in Miami because he's from down here. He wanted to play down here, and they didn't want to go get him. So that's what he deserved. So that's one of the letter. All the scouting department, they need to go. Everybody in the scouting department need to go. I don't care if it's the cooler boy. He need to go too. Everybody need to go in the scouting department.
You know what's crazy about all of this is that, remember when Lamar was getting drafted, the owner wanted him.
No,
But-
I heard it was Greer.
No, I think it was the owner, and what Grier wasn't making.
Right, I don't think Greer was the GM
Grier,
at
it
that
was
point.
Tannenbaum.
Was it Tannenbaum or Hickey or somebody? Or,
Yeah. And they didn't want him, but the owner,
Yeah.
let them make the decision. But he wanted Lamar. I think he wanted Lamar.
Hear me out. Stephen Ross should go full Jerry Jones and start making the pick.
Nah, he ain't got time
I'm
for
just
that.
I'm joking. Please don't take me seriously on that.
Yeah.
Let's talk with Donnie. Donnie, you're on WQAM.
Hey, fellas, how y'all doing?
What's
First
going
of all,
on?
I like to thank you guys for petitioning this guy for getting released, because you guys started petitioning it whenever he had this press conference when they let the cornerback go. I don't know which one of you guys said it, but y'all said he needed to go then. So I gotta congratulate not just you guys, your whole lineup for in the morning and the evening. I congratulate you guys for petitioning getting rid of him. I didn't know y'all had that much power to do that. I appreciate
Neither
that.
did we.
Neither do
I
we.
Well,
appreciate
I mean,
that.
Tobin once got a street renamed, so I think Tobin might have been the guy who made this happen.
The second thing, one of you guys pointed out, the guy kept hiring injured players. I mean, that doesn't make sense. You keep hiring injured players. Every player you have hired either got them a nice check. I would think that the guy that's on your show right now that used to play football, he should have got him another check, because he was getting away checks like that. I can go get me a check. I'll be the tight end or something. Let me get a check. I'm hurt. So I think y'all pointed all that out. He had all those injured players. And the third thing y'all mentioned about this too, y'all said it was a whole bunch of Baltimore players in the stands. Yeah, I think
fans,
the fan
yeah.
base had a lot to do with that last night, because if you getting booed and you got more people in there for Baltimore than you got in there for the Dolphins, that's a bad look. I know he said something about it aesthetically or something, but that's a bad look. Everybody come to see the Baltimore Ravens, beat up on the team that you own, I think that helped with the decision. Y'all tell me. I like listening to you guys. And thank you for what you do. And thank you for getting rid of that man.
You're welcome.
It's
all us.
Hey, you just, hey, he said, I'll take that credit. You're welcome.
I'm taking it. I'm not even the regular host of the show. I'm going to take credit for whatever Tobin may have done to make this happen.
Yeah.
I'll take
Listen, I've been saying this since last year, Leroy. Have I not?
Yeah.
When the fan base is upset, they just want answers. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm sorry I got to take it like to the streets. When something bad happens in neighborhoods, the streets need bodies. They need answers.
Right.
And the fans are Stephen Ross's customers. So, at a certain point, you've got to answer to your customer. Let's go back to the phones. Let's talk with Alex. You're on WQAM. What's up?
What's up, Leroy? What's up, Donald?
What's happening?
27-year season ticket holder right here. So I was.
You've seen a lot.
I've seen a lot of garbage. I'll tell you that much. I was there for the last playoff win that they've had. So the biggest problem on this team for years has been the trenches.
Right.
And it starts in the trenches. If, like you said, Leroy, if you don't have continuity in your offensive line and defensive lines, man, there goes the team, man. You can have the best quarterback, but if he can't be protected, he can't perform. It's a team game. It's not a one-person thing here. Another thing, drafting all these hurt players. I'm not taking Tua. Sorry, man. Injured hip. Are you kidding me? I'm not. I'm just not bringing that guy in. Two ankle surgeries before that. Too many signs, man. And to me, he blew it there. He had 3 first-round picks, and what did he come up with? Austin Jackson, Tua, and Igbenogany. He's not even here. And the other offensive lineman's always hurt. These extensions, he doesn't foresee anything in the future. Robert Hunt was our best O-lineman. Our run game was producing. Why? Because Hunt can block, he could pull, and you let him go. Because you couldn't sign him in time, and they were going to offer him way too much money that you couldn't offer. And Tua, you don't give an extension to. You do year by year like Kirk Cousins got. I don't understand why to rush for a guy that played one full season, and down the stretch couldn't close it out. Okay? Could not close out the big games and put the team on his back and win a damn game. They never beat any good teams. He's never come from behind. As a Dolphin fan, in the fourth quarter, we're behind. We're losing that game. I'm sorry, especially if it's against a good team. You saw it yesterday. He couldn't even throw the ball down the field on the damn Hail Mary, a 50-yard bomb. Just throw it up.
My man Alex is getting worked up. Hey, dog, it's Halloween. Take a deep breath. Go have one. Have one for your boy. Go ahead on and say, you know what?
One. I want to have a keg from a boy.
Hey, but just check it out. Check it out. Don't overdo it. Don't let them get you down. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe.
No.
Right?
Yeah, no, I got you, Leroy. But this is all frustration and all stupidity that just you look like a clown show as a team here, and the fan base deserves much better than this garbage that we've gotten. And this is one step. I'm not going to celebrate until McDaniel's gone, and they bench Tua. I know they're not because of the team, like you said. For the other players that are here, they're not going to go for that. Players want to win. Like I always say, players are not going to quit either. Because that's their bloodline, and they're going to give it all. It doesn't matter who's coaching them. But at the end of the day, one step closer to change, and hopefully McDaniel's next, and Tua's next, and you just got to move on. Bench him like Kirk Cousins got benched. Sorry, man. This guy's not a leader. He's always about we, and he's never taking accountability for himself. And all I hear is, we need to do this. No, you need to do this. I need to do this. Like, sorry, bro. Not the guy, not the leader that we need. So, all right, guys. A lot of frustration. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Vlad, can we take one more? Because I'm dying to talk to the guy who's on the line. And these have all been great calls, but you talk about a blast from the past. My dude, legendary sports radio caller, Richie from Boar's Head. What's up, Richie?
Gentlemen, how you doing today?
Good.
Better.
Leroy, what's up, my man Dano, and my boy Vlad? What's up, Vlad?
Can't complain,
So,
Richie. Can't
Leroy,
complain.
I got a couple things for you guys. So the streets finally got the body that we've been waiting for years. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but Leroy, this is kind of towards for you. What respected GM is going to come in here and put up with this mess that we have without getting rid of Tua and without getting rid of coach?
But that's part of the negotiations.
Yeah, give the GM the power to do that.
That's part of the negotiations. That's part of when you go and hire somebody, what you may have to deal with, right? And so that's what I was saying earlier when I say if you bring in an older coach, then that guy's going to want the power to be able to make those decisions, right? If you bring in a newer coach, then you might have to have a GM who you trust that can make those decisions. So that's just in the process of how you do things. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, like everybody talking about John Gruden, it's been a long time, and John Gruden gonna come in here and want all the power. So
I see. So,
and a lot of people in that building, a lot of them people in that building that have power, Richie, they don't want to give that power up. So they ain't gonna give the okay to come bring an old coach in.
I got you. I got a couple more things for you. So what's up with Tobin? He decided to take a couple of days off because the stinking heat beat my Knicks?
No, he had dirty boxing last night.
And one more thing. How'd you guys like me on TV last night?
I didn't see you, Richie. You were on you're on TV at the game?
I was on the pregame and the postgame when they were interviewing Lamar. I was the coach he met with.
Oh my gosh, I didn't see that. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, he met with me before the game, and then they taped it and they talked about it after the game, and they did like a 30-second thing on it. So I didn't know if you guys seen it after the game.
Now I got to look for it.
Look with
I'm gonna
Prime.
look for it, Richie. I will.
Look with Prime.
All righty.
All right, guys. Love you. Great show, and there's more carnage to come.
I love it. Man, Richie, just so you know, like as long as I've been in radio, which is long, I've been taking calls from Richie from Boar's Head. He's an absolute legend. All right, we're going to wrap up the Tobin and Leroy show. When we come back, we're going to be talking Chris Greer all day. I'm sure Hawk Crowder and Solana will be doing the same.
All last 7 minutes of it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the other shows will pick up right where we leave off, right here on FM 104. Yeah.
This will be a short break. This is a 90-second break.
Okay.
So we'll be right back. We'll be right back on WQAM.
Oh,
Yeah,
this
I
is
know.
a reach, Vlad. This is a reach.
Tell me what song it is. I can't hear it.
Stevie Wonder, Superstitious.
Well,
I'll
Steve
call it a
Wonder,
Halloween
it's
song.
just Halloween.
I know,
Yeah.
but it's still.
You moving, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Then.
Hey. This is back in the days where if you was in a band or a musician, you had like a 27-piece band, and each song lasted like 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes. You're moving. You're grooving. You're moving.
Yeah.
You're dancing.
Oh, you got me today. The music been on point. I ain't gonna lie.
Vlad is earning that. Unlike Chris Greer, Vlad is earning that money today.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know what? This is a good day for Dolphins.
Is it because you lost? You ain't even talking about the loss.
You're not.
This takes the stand. Well, we did the first hour on the loss, and then Greer got fired. We've been rolling ever since.
This is what was going to happen if this didn't firing happen. All we would have done for the following 3 hours is talk about when will somebody get fired.
Right.
This is the right time for somebody to get let go because you don't play again until not this Sunday, but the following Sunday.
You know what's amazing? All right. Let me say this. Gruden took the Raiders to the 2001 Super Bowl, which is the equivalent to the last time the Dolphins won
a playoff game.
Why in the hell would you sign up for that again? It's been 25 years.
Because of name recognition. There's one thing
it's
about
been 25 years.
I understand, but there's one thing about this city, this market, especially when it comes to sports, is about not being recognized and not, even though when you you do have stars. So therefore, when there's a name that has a lot of cachet,
right?
There's always this person might end up in whatever sports team, Miami. There's
25 years ago.
I understand that, but the cachet. Listen,
the experience is a big part of it. You know, the resume is a bit, and I don't even love Gruden, so I'm just telling you why this is what a lot of Dolphin fans want. It's not necessarily what I want, okay? But the experience, the resume, the track record, compared to Dolphins have hired a lot of first-time coaches and GMs recently, so maybe getting somebody in the building with some experience, just throwing that out there. That might be a good idea.
All right. I hear you. I'm just saying.
I mean, literally, Gruden's really claim to fame right now is that Caliendo has done a great job of impersonating him.
So he's been staying relevant.
So he's been staying relevant.
We should hire Frank Caliendo, man. He's got less legal trouble.
Really, there's really like when you pointed it out the other day, it was like, man, if you go to retreads.
I'm telling you, if you go to retreads, here's what's going to happen.
You're going to go to
It's going to be
McCarthy?
a lot of uneasy people in that building.
Okay, if there's one retread you can go to, I would say Mike McCarthy might be the best one.
Yeah.
Only because
No. Here's why, Vlad. You need the opposite. You need somebody to come in here like Man Campbell. You need somebody that
we had him.
They had Man Campbell. Listen. People he is a very polarizing figure, but all the problems that you're talking about this team,
right?
It wasn't there when Flores was the coach.
Takes no talent.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Right.
There was you never called them soft. You understand what I'm saying? You had no problem. You never had a fear of them going in December or January not winning games because they went in cold places in December, January 1. Mind you. They're the reason why Brady didn't get the 1 seed in his final year with the Patriots when they were trying to repeat.
Right.
That was Flores and them going in there and beating them.
Correct. Yep.
So what you didn't want that. My thinking is you have a coach he coached in Green Bay. He coached in that craziness in Dallas and won 3 12-win seasons.
Right.
So you know the offense will be good. He did wonders with Rodgers. He did wonders with Dak. Whoever your new head quarterback is going to be, that's if you're looking at a retread that's not that bad. Yeah. But you're right. All the other retreads, yeesh.
Well, and listen, man, a retread if you can get the right retread, I mean, I might take that over trying to find the next up and coming coordinator with no head coaching experience, because we failed at that enough times. Like, we've tried to make that work enough times here that maybe getting someone with experience.
Hey,
is not
this time let's make sure we hire a coach who did what he said he was going to do.
Yeah.
Like, remember Philbin? They said he was the offensive coordinator with Aaron Rodgers, and he was not.
Yeah, he wasn't calling the plays. He was he was the offensive. Maybe they let him do a little game planning. Like they let him into the offensive meetings, and then he's like, "Yeah, I was the offensive coordinator. Were you really?" No.
And that's the other thing. If you're close to whoever is considered a top 5 quarterback, I might not want you. Like you said Joe Philbin. Another one was the Jets hiring. Who was that bum that the Broncos hired? As the head coach.
Oh,
that got into it with Russell.
Right.
Sometimes when you, I forgot his name. Adam Gase is another one. Adam Gase with Peyton Manning. No, he wasn't good. So yeah, be careful who you look at because of who they were aligned with.
All right.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's been a fun show today and an interesting show. You know, we get the news in the early 11 a.m. hour. Chris Grier is no longer the general manager of the Miami Dolphins. Adam Schefter did say that Mike McDaniel will remain head coach until the end of the season at least. Hopefully the at least can be taken out of that statement in the near future. But, man, I've had a fun week with you guys. I know Tobin's going to be back on Monday. Everyone have a happy and safe Halloween tonight. I'll be trick-or-treating for a few hours.
Okay.
That's right. Go Canes on Saturday. Go Panthers on Saturday. Go Heat on Sunday. Go into Miami. Yeah, we got a loaded weekend coming up. Leroy Horde.
The only thing y'all celebrated today was go Chris Greer.
Fire Chris Greer.
And go, like literally go. And he gone. We'll talk to you guys.
Boo! He literally got booed, and he turned into a ghost.
He did. Hockman and Crowder and Solana coming your way next year on FM 104.3 WQAM. See you, bud.